Toyota. Let's go places. Dialysis is life support. I'm considered on life support. Kidney failure affects many people. They're not going to be better off if Proposition 8 passes. Dialysis units will close. People will flood the emergency rooms. The people who wrote this proposition, I would like to look them right in the face and have them tell me how it's going to help me. If I don't do dialysis, I die. Don't put dialysis patients' lives at risk. Vote no on Prop 8.
Connecting people, uniting the world.
We've had a homeless crisis in San Francisco for a long time.
And half measures haven't fixed it.
Homelessness doesn't just hurt homeless people.
It hurts all of us.
That's why we're all voting yes on C. The plan is paid for by corporations that just got a massive tax break.
It's time for them to give back by helping all of us to fix our homeless crisis.
With more affordable housing, expanded mental health services.
Clean restrooms and safe shelters. Vote yes on C. It helps all of us.
Welcome back to Mornings on 2 at 7:52. YouTube is working again. It went down last night around the world for about an hour. Around 7 p.m., YouTube went offline. When it came back online, YouTube, based right here in the Bay Area, thanked users for their patience, but gave no details about what went wrong. The Philadelphia Police Department had a response that went viral. They tweeted, "Yes, our YouTube is down too. No, please don't call 911. We can't fix it." Well, another Bay Area company is soaring on Wall Street this morning after beating analysts' expectations. Pam Cook is back now with a report from Netflix in today's dollars and cents, Pam.
Yeah, good morning. Netflix stock up about $17 a share right now, or 5%, after adding 2 million more subscribers than expected. Netflix added 7 million subscribers between July and September for a total of 137 million monthly subscribers worldwide. Most of the growth in that third quarter was overseas subscriptions. The Los Gatos-based Netflix giving credit to its original programming and its streaming options. It does expect even more people to sign up by the end of the year. Ringing the opening bell this morning, boxing super middleweight world champion Rocky Fielding in Madison Square Gardens company, but with him is middleweight champion Canelo Alvarez, who we learned just signed the richest sports contract in history, a 5-year, 11-fight deal worth $365 million. Well, when that opening bell rang, unfortunately, Netflix up, but most of the market down. Perhaps some profit taking, some up and down after a big gain yesterday. There's a live look at the Dow Jones on the big board. 255 points, almost 1 full percentage point. The S&P 500 also down about 3/4 of a percentage point to 2788, and the Nasdaq about the same percentage-wise. It is at 7586. Tesla getting ready to start producing cars in China. It has agreed to purchase a factory site in Shanghai. That comes after China said it would end restrictions on electric vehicle manufacturers. China is actually Tesla's second largest market. The Bay Area-based company says a factory in China would help bring the price of the car down across Asia. Prices soared there about 20% on the new tariffs. Tesla is also announcing more changes to its autopilot feature. Elon Musk tweeted that the company will roll out an updated computer in the coming months to run autopilot. It will increase computing as the feature becomes more complex. Existing owners will be upgraded for free if they purchase the full self-driving package. It will cost $5,000 for that upgrade. And Google Maps is making changes to its app to help electric vehicle owners find more places to charge. Google has featured charging stations for years, but now it displays more stations from supported networks. It will also provide more information, including how many charging ports are available and how quickly it will take to charge your car. I'm Pam Cook in the newsroom with a look at your dollars and cents. Let's go back to Dave.
All right, Pam, thank you. Time 7:55. We're still following developing news from San Francisco. What we're finding out about a shooting involving a U.S. Park Service police officer. Plus, new details about the disappearance of a Washington Post journalist. And even though the evidence is mounting, President Trump still is not rushing to judgment. All of this as Secretary of State Pompeo arrives in Turkey to get some answers.
Well, that problem on Interstate 880 continues, and it's actually causing a bunch of slow traffic. Even though all the lanes are open, you can see for yourself, this thing is going to be there for a bit.
And in weather, look at this. It's the middle of October. We still have low clouds and fog in our forecast. At least for this morning, maybe a little bit of a bump in the numbers as we head toward the weekend. We'll have that forecast coming up.
Wednesday, our friend Dan Jones returns to the couch. We're talking hot topics that special way only Dan can.
Today at 10 on KTVU Fox 2. When Steve Poizner was insurance commissioner, he stood up to insurance companies and arrested those who commit the insurance fraud that drives up your rates. Now rates are skyrocketing, and Steve's running to do what he did before. Cut insurance rates. Last time, Steve cut them by $2 billion. That's why every single major California newspaper endorsed him, calling Steve by far the most qualified and the best choice. Steve Poizner, the strong, independent voice we need.
Not that we're concerned. We want to
In partnership with Stanford Children's Health, we're John Muir Health. And no matter where life takes you, we are in this together. John Muir Health. Be heard.
Melanie, like cows?
Coupanopolis?
Constantinopolis?
Can I like guess?
Just call me Eleni.
Eleni Kounalakis will fight for every Californian. A businesswoman, housing expert, and former U.S. ambassador, Eleni will work to create more affordable housing, oppose new leases of our coast for offshore drilling. And Eleni will keep higher education affordable by standing up against tuition hikes.
It's Eleni Kounalakis.
Protecting our California dream.
This October, it's back. 25 Casinos, $100,000 Kill Bills Volume 3, the final chapter. Coming Saturdays for cash drawings. Then join us on October 27th for the grand prize drawing, where you can win $2,000 a week for the rest of 2018. Now that's a bill killer. Only at 25 Casino and Hotel.
Before he was running for state superintendent, politician Tony Thurmond was responsible for a school district with widespread budget problems. Ranked last in the state for failing to serve students of color. Sued for leaving at-risk students in rotting trailers with mushrooms growing in the floors. Reprimanded by the Obama administration for failing to address widespread sexual harassment and assault in district schools. Tony Thurmond failed the students he was supposed to help. California deserves better.
Is that him?
Yeah, I think that's happening.
My baby is home.
Let me go with you. I can handle myself.
We will get what's ours. If somebody's got to risk their life for this family, it's going to be me.
Empire. Tonight at 8 on KTVU Fox 2.
An officer-involved shooting in a popular area of San Francisco leaves one person injured and another detained. We'll have all the details coming up.
Lottery fever continues to heat up. The Mega Millions jackpot is growing even bigger after no one hit all the numbers last night. But we'll tell you where one big winning ticket was sold here in the Bay Area after hitting 5 of the 6 numbers.
And let's give you a live picture in the East Bay. A traffic alert on 880 in Oakland. What we're learning about an accident involving an overturned UPS truck. Mornings on 2 continues now.
This is KTVU Mornings on 2.
Welcome back to Mornings on 2. This is a picture of a traffic problem we have been bringing you throughout the morning. A truck is overturned on 880. We're going to focus in on exactly what is happening with the efforts to right the truck and clear it out of the way. So we're going to talk to Sal about how this is impacting not just this stretch, but also the regional traffic, as it is a very busy Wednesday.
And with that, welcome back to Mornings on 2, everyone. It is Wednesday, October 17th. I'm Mike Nevatt.
And I'm Gassi Mikaya. Now to a story a lot of people are talking about this morning. Mark, Did you go to the Safeway in the Marina District last
I
night?
think we should ask Steve, because Steve's not here.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Maybe that's the reason
maybe
Steve's not
something
here.
happened. Yeah.
So what this something is, and we'll say it real quick here. Somebody bought a ticket at the Safeway there in the Marina District that hit 5 of the 6 numbers. That one ticket is worth $1.9 million, Mark. So,
Wow.
yes. I think we know this as the Dateway. That's what I've heard people call it. It's in the Marina District, apparently singles.
A hot spot on a Sunday afternoon.
Right. So we've heard. So again, the big news out of the Safeway in the Marina District is that 5 out of the 6 numbers were matched on one ticket, and that one ticket is now worth $1.9 million. The jackpot was not hit, so it's getting even closer to $1 billion. The next drawing for that is Friday night. KTV's Ali Rasmus has been at that Safeway all morning talking to people who work there and shop there, so maybe she'll find a lucky winner. Who knows? It's a fun thing to think about.
But I guess, Mark, it's not you.
No, we'll have to find out if it was Steve, though. Maybe.
Maybe. Yeah.
Actually, he had this. This is all planned for him to be a little vacation time for Steve this week. But yeah, always need to get those numbers and see what happens with the excitement. That will continue with the lotto. So at least for us, though, weather-wise, we have temperatures 60s, 70s, all the way to the low to mid-80s. The fog this morning clearing back to near the coastline later on today, later on this afternoon. But still a pretty quiet weather pattern out here in the Pacific, except this guy. You can see these storms starting to develop. No rainfall for us just yet. We're just talking about some low clouds and fog. This looks like a June or July weather pattern. The clouds hanging out coastside right around the bay will come in closer to San Francisco, portions of Marin County, in fact, up towards the North Bay, Sonoma County Airport. Up in Santa Rosa, reporting visibility is down about a half mile so far this morning. Stepping outside the door, we'll check in on some of the current numbers. We still have some readings in the 40s, 43 to 45 degrees up in the North Bay. San Francisco, 53, and San Jose checking in 54. Our live camera showing you some of the overcast. In fact, about 4 o'clock this morning, dropping into work, we actually have mostly clear skies. The clouds, though, have been ramping up in coverage over the past few hours, so we'll add that to the forecast for this morning. Into the afternoon hours, more sunshine, except coastside, and maybe San Francisco. We could still have some patchy fog for portions of San Francisco. There's the eventual temperature range. We'll take a close look at your forecast highs in a few minutes. We'll check in with Sal right now. He's standing by, and he has an update on the roadways. Good morning to you, Sal.
Mark, good morning to you. As you probably already know, if you've been listening to these reports, we've been talking about a truck that flipped over on the ramp from Hagenberger Road to southbound 880 this morning in the 5 o'clock hour. It's been out there for hours now. That ramp is closed, and they have to right the truck. This is video taken just a little while ago of the truck on its side, and you can see tow truck has been in position there to right the truck, but it's a complicated operation, and it probably won't be done until after 9 o'clock. Meanwhile, you can see here, as we go to a live picture of our camera of 880, people are slowing northbound right up to the scene because, you look over on the left, you see that spectacle there, and it's causing a visual hazard. It's causing a visual hazard southbound, which is not the commute direction for most, but it is going to be a problem not only there but also in Hagenberger. Let's talk about the East Shore Freeway, Carquinez Bridge to the McMays. 44-minute drive, Bay Bridge, Toll Plaza, add another 20. And the San Mateo Bridge, by the way, is going to be moderate. Likewise for the Dumbarton Bridge. We haven't had much trouble on the peninsula. It's been kind of a normal morning here. Southbound 280, I do notice that there's a new crash. Southbound 280 as you drive into South City on the way out of Daly City, driving down to 380. Give yourself extra time. The crash is near Hickey. 804. Let's go back to the desk.
All right, Sal, thank you. We're following a developing story out of San Francisco where police are investigating a shooting involving a U.S. Park police officer at Aquatic Park. As KTVU's Sarah Zenanon reports, it is not clear right now what led up to the shooting.
The scene is clear now. We're on Vanessa Avenue right now, just in front of the municipal pier. This is where San Francisco police officers were investigating an officer-involved shooting that happened Tuesday night. Tow trucks came in and removed cars earlier today. That's when the scene was cleared. One was a green Toyota. The other was a U.S. Park police car. Now, we are waiting on more detailed information, but this is what we do know. The San Francisco Police Department tells us around 9:30 last night, officers got a call for shots fired near Aquatic Park here in San Francisco. The PD says a U.S. Park police officer was involved in the shooting. One person was taken to the hospital with life-threatening injuries, while another person was detained. We don't know exactly what led up to the shooting. There's still Of course, a lot of questions left to be answered. We do know this area is in the U.S. Park Police jurisdiction. However, the SFPD and District Attorney's Office will investigate. Now, to clarify, no San Francisco police officers were involved in the shooting. It was an officer with the U.S. Park Police. And like I said, we are still waiting on more information from the San Francisco Police Department, but definitely continue to follow us as we get more information on this developing story. For now in San Francisco, Sarah Zendenon, KTVU Fox 2 News.
And we're monitoring another developing story in Crimea, where an explosion and shooting at a college campus is being described as a possible terror attack. The death toll is now 18, and that includes the 18-year-old suspect. Authorities say a bomb blast killed most of the victims, but eyewitness reports say that people saw at least some people getting hit by gunfire as well. More than 40 other people were injured in the attack. Most of the victims are students. Right now, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is on his way back to the United States after meeting with officials in Turkey about the disappearance and what's believed to be the killing of Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi. Secretary Pompeo met with Turkey's president, who has accused Saudi Arabia of killing Khashoggi at the Saudi consulate in Istanbul. A day earlier, Pompeo was in Saudi Arabia, where officials told him they did nothing wrong, but said they are investigating.
I think that's a reasonable thing to do to give them that opportunity, and then we'll all get to judge. We'll all get to evaluate the work that they do.
Turkish officials say they have evidence, including audio recordings, that Khashoggi was killed at the Saudi consulate.
New at 8, the city of Berkeley has taken action to improve safety around San Pablo Park. This area in South Berkeley has been hit with recent violence, including a shooting in August that wounded 3 people. Berkeley's mayor held a hearing last night for public input on what the city can and should do to improve safety. Well, Berkeley will now install surveillance cameras in the park as part of an anti-crime campaign. Other measures include increased police patrols and encouraging more families to actually use that park. Here this morning, a fire destroyed a KFC restaurant in Antioch. That fire was first reported about 12:45 this morning at the KFC on Mahogany Way, right near Highway 4. Firefighters arrived and were preparing to fight that fire from inside the restaurant, but then they saw the air conditioning unit on the roof beginning to fall through the ceiling. At least one AC unit did fall. It's hard to see any damage from outside the building, but the interior, they say, is a total loss. Authorities also say the fire may have been fueled by grease on the roof and grease traps or in the vents. Investigators say they will not be able to go inside that restaurant until building inspectors have given them the green light. No one was injured in the fire. Vallejo firefighters were busy this morning putting out an apartment fire. It started at 2:45 in the second-floor unit at the building on Valle Vista Avenue. The fire department tweeted these photos. Now, firefighters say that fire started in the kitchen where something was cooking and then spread to an apartment next door. Everyone was able to get out. One woman is being treated for smoke inhalation. No firefighters were injured.
Time is 8:08. PG&E says the power is now back on to everyone whose power was turned off on Sunday because of high fire danger. PG&E turned off power to 17,000 customers in the North Bay Sunday night, mostly in Lake and Napa counties. It was the first time that PG&E had proactively turned off the electricity as a precaution to try to prevent wildfires. Some people who were affected say they support the action, but some North Bay lawmakers say PG&E needs to do a better job of communicating with the public the next time it happens.
The wind, I was really grateful. They turned the power off. I could rest easier. So I thought that was a good reason. I think it saved us.
We have to learn from the mistakes that were made, and we have to do better. PG&E has to do better.
PG&E says these preemptive power outages are the new normal, and that it'll have to do them whenever weather conditions create an extreme risk of wildfires. PG&E will pay $5 million for violations resulting in 2 natural gas leaks in Napa County. The State Public Utilities Commission issued the citations on Monday. The action stems from a 2016 incident in the community of Deer Park near St. Helena, when the agency said PG&E workers caused a gas leak while repairing a service valve. A second gas leak in that same location resulted in 2 injuries. PG&E's pipelines have been under scrutiny after a 2010 explosion in San Bruno that killed 8 people.
Today, Senator Dianne Feinstein and State Senator Kevin De Leon will go head-to-head for the one and only time before Election Day, and there's actually a debate about whether to call it a debate. The 2 Democrats will appear together today at an event in San Francisco. Feinstein's campaign calls it a debate because the candidates will answer questions from a moderator, but De Leon's team rejects that, saying the 2 candidates are not allowed to address each other, only the moderator. We will carry the discussion between Feinstein and De Leon live on KTVU Plus starting at noon. This event is being held at the Public Policy Institute of California in San Francisco. Well, the Museum of Ice Cream in San Francisco is holding an event this afternoon designed to get people to register to vote. Mayor London Breed will speak at the Scoop the Vote event today at 4 o'clock, tomorrow through Monday. The Museum of Ice Cream will give a free ice cream scooper to the first 1,000 people who register to vote at the Plain Shop, the retail shop right next to that museum.
The Golden State Warriors hit the road later this week to play the Utah Jazz, but last night the Warriors were at home at Oracle, raising another championship banner to the Raptors when they opened their season against the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Thunder played without All-Star Russell Westbrook. Still, the Thunder kept the game close, exchanging baskets throughout the game. In the end, the Warriors won 108-100. Some 20,000 people packed into Oracle last night for the regular season opener, along with the pregame ceremony celebrating another Warriors championship. Fans went wild when the Warriors owners handed out those championship rings to players, coaches, and members of the organization. Fans say it was a bit bittersweet, knowing that last night was the final home opener for the Warriors in Oakland. Of course, next year, the team is moving to its new billion-dollar San Francisco arena, the Chase Center.
Great start to the season right there. Not so great. A new report that is out showing some of the worst roads in the country. Up next, where the 3 largest Bay Area cities came in on that list.
Also, an incident involving First Lady Melania Trump's plane. Up next, the reason it was forced to turn around this morning and land at Joint Base Andrews.
Well, this incident in Oakland has actually slowed traffic on the freeway, even though it's not blocking freeway lanes. This overturned truck is being righted. This is a live picture. It's a complicated operation. We'll tell you what it's doing to the commute heading into downtown Oakland when we come back.
And weather, the low clouds and fog this morning beginning to lift a little bit. Looks like a fairly nice Wednesday forecast and some mild temperatures. We'll take a look at that forecast coming up.
The Ford store Morgan Hill has over 700 vehicles, all clearly marked with our bottom line sale price.
Everybody supports Prop C to fight homelessness, right? Not when they see the cost. The biggest tax in SF history, $1.5 billion to help just 4,000 people. That's $375,000 a person with no plan and no accountability. Vote no on C.
Xfinity X5, a more powerful way to stay connected. It gives you super fast speeds for all your devices, enhanced coverage, and lets you control your network with the X5 app. It's the ultimate Wi-Fi experience. Xfinity X5. Simple, easy, awesome. Xfinity X5 gives you the speed, coverage, and control you need. Manage your Wi-Fi network from anywhere when you download the X5 app today.
The cost of housing in California can be a backbreaker if you're like me living on a fixed income. So when I heard about Prop 10, I read up. Watch out. Prop 10 does the opposite of what it says. Prop 10 has no protections for renters, veterans, or seniors. Prop 10 will drive up rents, make housing less affordable and less available. That's the last thing we need. That's why seniors say no on 10. It makes a bad problem worse.
Land Rover, above and beyond. Land Rover, above and beyond.
Everybody supports Prop C to fight homelessness, right? Not when they see the cost. The biggest tax in SF history, $1.5 billion to help just 4,000 people. That's $375,000 a person with no plan and no accountability. Vote no on C.
8:14, we have new information to bring you about First Lady Melania's Trump plane that was forced to return to Joint Base Andrews this morning. According to the press pool, about 10 minutes after the plane took off, reporters could see smoke and they smelled something burning. Reporters were brought wet towels and told to hold them over their faces if the smell became too strong. The plane landed safely. Mrs. Trump is okay, as is everyone else who was on board. A crew member told the Fox producer the smoke was from a communications unit that overheated. The White House has not confirmed that. The producer went on to say flight attendant was seen with a fire extinguisher that did not appear to have been used. The First Lady was heading to Philadelphia to talk about opioids. The White House says this trip is being reevaluated now. Today marks 29 years since the deadly Loma Prieta earthquake. The magnitude 6.9 earthquake was centered in the Santa Cruz Mountains. It killed 63 people and caused widespread damage. The Cypress Structure Freeway in Oakland and a portion of the upper deck of the Bay Bridge collapsed. A ruptured gas line caused a big fire in San Francisco's Marina District. The quake struck at 5:04 p.m. and disrupted the start of Game 3 of the World Series between the A's and Giants at Candlestick Park. Damage from the Loma Prieta earthquake was estimated at around $6 billion.
Oakland Mayor Libby Schaaf says a new report vindicates her decision to warn Oakland residents about an impending ice raid earlier this year. Vice News said it obtained records that showed half of the 111 undocumented immigrants who were taken into custody back in February had no criminal convictions, and only a handful of those arrested had been convicted of a serious crime in the last decade. At the time, the Trump administration criticized Mayor Schaaf, accusing her of helping criminals elude capture. Mayor Schaaf was quick to respond to the news report.
The facts that are shown in these public records are in stark contrast to the racist and fear-mongering rhetoric that both the head of the ICE agency and the president himself have used to talk about immigration enforcement in this country.
Mayor Schaaf says President Trump has been using lies to get more support for ICE raids that target undocumented immigrants in sanctuary cities. Former California Congresswoman Mary Bono is now out as the interim president of USA Gymnastics after only 5 days on the job. Bono stepped down amid criticism over a tweet she sent last month about Colin Kaepernick and Nike. In the tweet, Bono used a black marker to cover up the Nike logo to show her displeasure with the company's ad campaign featuring the former 49ers quarterback. Nike sponsors USA Gymnastics. Bono served 15 years in the House and is the widow of Sonny Bono. Four-time Olympic gold medalist Simone Biles questioned Bono's appointment at the time. Biles tweeted, "Don't worry, it's not like we needed a smarter USA Gymnastics president or any sponsors or anything." USA Gymnastics is still struggling to recover from the Larry Nassar scandal, in which more than 200 athletes said they were sexually abused. Before Mary Bono took the job as interim president, Carrie Perry resigned after 9 months on the job. Among her decisions were hiring a coach who initially defended Nassar.
Times 880, Sal, you've been reporting on this problem with the overturned truck on 880 in the heart of Oakland for hours now.
Yeah, I've been looking at some of these alternate routes, and they're beginning to get crowded as well. What happened was at 5:30 this morning, a truck on the ramp from Hagenberger Road to southbound 880 coming from the UPS facility did not make that turn. The truck ended up flipping over, at least the trailer did. No serious injuries. So again, here we are. It's almost 8:30, so we're almost 3 hours in, and they have a couple of trucks here trying to right the trailer. And again, there was no one injured, but the traffic is very slow northbound, and this is going to be there for a while. Probably going to be there at least till 9 o'clock, as they've been working pretty fast, but they have to take care when they do these things, obviously. We assume the truck has been loaded because of how careful they are being with it. It looks like they're moving it now, so we're seeing some progress. Looks like they're lifting it now. Our photographer had to change location, so let's see if they can actually lift it here. And we're not going to stay on it too long. Here we go. Is it, here we go. All right, well, it might take a while, so we're going to have to move on to the other traffic. Let's talk about 80 westbound. As you head out to the Martinez Bridge, you will see the traffic here is going to be 45 minutes. Bay Bridge Toll Plaza, not a bad commute here. When you get to the Bay Bridge Toll Plaza, there will be about a 20-minute wait. Look at 880. It's slow from Hayward to Fremont, and in the South Bay, Silicon Valley commute all filled in getting into Cupertino. Mark Tamayo, what is the weather going to be like today?
I'm going to tell you, this is, I feel like we're being transported back to June or July, because we're still talking about low clouds and fog this morning. Typically, This is the time of year you say, okay, come to the Bay Area. It's beautiful, clear, and mild, and we still have some low clouds and fog to talk about. At least for this morning, the afternoon, though, should be okay. Mid-60s coast side, around the bay, approaching mid-70s. Inland spots, we're thinking 83, maybe 85 degrees later on this afternoon. Here's the satellite. We actually have a storm system out here. No rainfall for us just yet, but the main impact will be an increase in the waves and the surf. So we'll be talking about that in just a few seconds. At least right now, here we go. Some low clouds and fog hanging out near the coast, near portions of the bay. I have noticed that the clouds beginning to lift and break up a little bit over the past hour or so. But here we go. Some of the coverage over portions of San Francisco, extending across the East Bay and up in portions of the North Bay. Santa Rosa reporting visibilities this morning down about a quarter of a mile. Most recent report down about a half mile up toward the Sonoma County Airport. Current numbers, we still have some 50s and some 40s for Walnut Creek, Concord, Fairfield 45, San Francisco 53, and SFO checking in 52 degrees. Here's our live camera looking out toward the Oakland Estuary. Two things I'm noticing here. You can see the calm conditions on the waters in here, so not much in the way of wind just yet with the calm texture. And then the clouds here, but they're beginning to break up a little bit, so that's probably going to be the trend into the afternoon hours or by late morning. Clouds lifting a bit, revealing partly to mostly sunny skies. Now here's that swell approaching the Bay Area coastline. It's coming in out of the north and from the west, so that will be marching closer to our coastline for today. As a result, we begin to bump up the wave height. This swell peaks tomorrow. Now this is not a high surf advisory, but still a heads up that we will have some dangerous surf for Thursday and into Friday. Just be extra careful if we're heading to the coastline. We could have some more rip current activity and possibly some sneaker waves. Here's the forecast throughout the day today. Clouds clear back to near the coastline. Partly sunny skies around the bay. More sunshine inland, and we're showing you some 70s and some 80s out toward Concord, Antioch, and Brentwood. San Francisco, 68. San Jose checks in 79, and Gilroy, 84. Look ahead, we're kind of cruising as we head toward the weekend. No major changes, just some 80s inland. Around the bay, maybe a little bit warmer by Friday, and the beaches in the 60s.
All right, Mark, thank you. A threat to the sea lion population right here in the Bay Area. Up next, the bacterial infection being blamed for making hundreds of them sick.
It's all about rising from the ashes.
I'm gonna hit her where it hurts.
Tonight at 9 on KTVU Fox 2.
Pass the pudding, please.
When things get ugly, call the We Buy Ugly Houses people. We can give you an all-cash offer and can close quickly. Go to WeBuyUglyHouses.com or call 800-44-BUYER.
Okay, we're going to talk about cars today. If you were going to design your perfect car, which 3 features would you choose?
Safety with the kids.
Fuel efficiency, affordable price.
My dream car would have all of these things.
What if I told you that there was a car that did have everything?
Seriously?
Okay, this is the Chevy Cruze. Go Chevy!
Get $4,000 total cash allowance on most 2018 Cruze models when you finance with GM Financial. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
I worked with President Obama to bring positive change to our schools. Now, proven public education leader Marshall Tuck will bring the same commitment to improving schools in California. He turned around the toughest schools, raising graduation rates dramatically. But change isn't easy. Sacramento interests are attacking Marshall with false claims because he'll fight for kids, not the status quo. Marshall Tuck will be the best superintendent for all California students.
Everyone knows the 5 senses.
But what if we told you?
There's more. Elusive sensation.
Cooked up only under ideal circumstances.
You can't fully describe it. You'll know it.
And you feel it.
We call it the ultimate driving machine. Hurry in to lease a 2018 BMW X2 X-Drive 28i for $349 a month.
When things get ugly, call the We Buy Ugly Houses people. We can give you a cash offer, not some phony online offer without even seeing your house. Go to WeBuyUglyHouses.com or call 800-44-BUYER.
KTVU Fox 2 gives more power to you. The power to feel. Pulls people together. Long live the king, the queen. The power to laugh. That sounds like fun. The power to blend.
The power to know.
Sky Fox giving us these live pictures. KTVU Fox 2.
The power of 2.
8:25 now, and new at 8. A child from Florida has died from the flu virus. This marks the first child death related to the flu this season. Florida's health department is refusing to identify the victim or say where they lived or give their age. We do know the child was in good health until catching the flu. The death happened 2 weeks ago. Doctors are concerned for several reasons, including that the child died from influenza B. That's a less common strain each year. Physicians here in the Bay Area and across the country are urging people to get their flu shot, especially those who are at higher risk, such as children, the elderly, and people with chronic health issues. Babies 6 months or younger are too young to get the flu shot, but doctors say, generally speaking, flu shots reduce your chances of getting the flu as well as the severity of the flu if you do get it. The CDC reports that more than 80,000 Americans died of the flu in the winter of 2017 to 2018. You can go to the web link section of KTV.com to find a flu vaccination clinic near you.
A deadly bacteria is threatening California's sea lion population. The infection, called leptospirosis, has made more than 220 sea lions sick so far this year. The Marine Mammal Center in Marin County is rescuing sea lions up and down the coast, and the bacteria attacks their kidneys and then can kill them. The Marine Mammal Center says it sees these bacteria outbreaks every 4 to 5 years, but they're not sure why.
And so this year has been, so far, the second largest outbreak that we've recorded, and we don't really see end in sight right now. We're still rescuing about 6 sea lions a day at this point.
Not all sea lions get sick from the bacteria, but the Marine Mammal Center says of those that do get ill, about 2/3 of them will die despite treatment from antibiotics. Ski resorts in Tahoe are looking ahead to the upcoming ski season. Snowmaking machines got turned on for the first time this fall at Squaw Valley, USA. Temperatures dipped into the 20s around Lake Tahoe on Monday night, so they took the opportunity to make sure that these snowmaking machines are ready for winter. If all goes planned, opening day at Squaw just a month away, scheduled for November 16th.
Some people think robots are going to take over the world someday, but for now, they've at least taken over the dance floor.
If we show up, we're gonna show up. Smoother than a fresh shot, baby.
You are seeing the latest robotic creation from Boston Dynamics. Yes, it's a dancing dog. The company released this video of the dog dancing to Uptown Funk. The animatronic dog has some moves. The running man, you little twerking. Boston Dynamics says it hopes to have the Robo-Dog named Spot Mini up and running for a variety of applications by next year.
Well, marking a defining moment in social activism in sports. Up next, the event happening today on the San Jose State University campus to mark 50 years since this historical moment at the Olympic Games in Mexico City.
And the Mega Millions jackpot grows again. How much it's worth for Friday night's drawing, and what we're learning about someone who bought a ticket that matched 5 of the 6 winning numbers. That ticket purchased at a San Francisco Safeway store.
Dialysis is life support. I'm considered on life support. Kidney failure affects many people. They're not going to be better off if Proposition 8 passes. Dialysis units will close. People will flood the emergency rooms. The people who wrote this proposition, I would like to look them right in the face and have them tell me how it's going to help me. If I don't do dialysis, I die. Don't put dialysis patients' lives at risk. Vote no on Prop 8.
You deserve nothing less than the best. You deserve a Mercedes-Benz. From Mercedes-Benz of San Jose and Mercedes-Benz of Stevens Creek, where we drive faith in support of breast cancer research. Right now, you can drive a brand new 2018 Mercedes-Benz CLA 250. Only $319 a month. That's the innovative new CLA 250. Just $319 a month. Drive pink at Mercedes-Benz of San Jose and Stevens Creek.
Your Mercedes-Benz destination.
Oh, Eric! I didn't know you were with the UPS store.
Yeah, we printed that sign.
I thought you just did shipping.
Oh, no, we do printing, packing, notarizing, faxing, shredding, mailboxing, taping, laminating, consulting, training, designing, returning, and of course, shipping.
I can't feel my legs. I should really get him home.
From printing to packing to mailboxing, go to the UPS store for everything your small business needs. And of course, shipping.
Tony Thurman for State Superintendent. Tony is an educator and public school parent. Marshall Tuck, a former Wall Street banker, is a paid backer of charter schools. Tony is supported by teachers in the California Democratic Party. Tuck is backed by Donald Trump's education advisor and financed by the same billionaires behind Betsy DeVos. Tony will protect public schools and prepare students for the jobs of the future. Tony Thurmond for State Superintendent, supported by teachers, not billionaires.
This portion of KTVU News, sponsored by Kaiser Permanente. Thrive your way every day. This is KTVU Mornings on 2.
8:30 on a gorgeous Wednesday. Welcome back. I'm Gassia Mikhaelia.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Maybach. You say gorgeous Wednesday. How about a little trip to the beach today, right?
Okay.
It'll be fun. But if you do go to the beach, Mark, right, watch out because there's some bigger waves coming in.
Yeah, very good advice, Mike and Gossia. That northwest swell is just beginning to knock on our door, and those wave heights will be going up, way up, especially as we head into the Thursday forecast. Take a look at the plan for today, though. We had the fog this morning that'll gradually clear back near the shoreline. 60s for the beaches, around the bay 70s. Inland spots we're thinking low to mid 80s later on this afternoon. Starting to see some storms develop out here in the Pacific, at least in our short-term forecast. Nothing's showing up just yet. The forecast model's trying to get a better handle as we head into next week, but we can't pinpoint anything just yet. Here's the current satellite situation where we still have some low clouds and fog beginning to lift a little bit over the past few hours over San Francisco, over Berkeley and Oakland, up in portions of the North Bay, and Santa Rosa. Low visibility reports all morning long. We'll check in on some of the current numbers. We have some 40s and some 50s, so still holding out to 44 degrees in Napa, San Francisco 53, and San Jose 54. Here's our live camera looking out for the Oakland estuary. We still have some cloud cover, but you can see here a few breaks in the clouds. That trend will continue. We'll gradually back off of the overcast throughout the morning hours as the clouds clear back to near the coastline. 60s, 70s, warmest locations inland approaching low 80s. Most areas a little bit cooler compared to yesterday. Let's check in with Sal right now. Last time we saw that trailer kind of get pulled upright. Is that, I guess that process has been still happening?
Yeah, it is still happening, although we've made progress, as you said. 5:30 this morning, this truck flipped over the back of it, and it did anyway. And now here we are with the truck back on its wheels. Now they have made some progress. They're going to get it out of there, but the damage has been done. This commute has been slow since 5:30, and the ramp has been closed since about 6:30 or 7 o'clock. On the other side of the freeway, northbound 880, getting a good long look at this, and that's why it has been extra slow coming out of the Hayward area all the way to Oakland, and after that, there's even more slow traffic heading up to downtown. Let's talk about some other things, because there certainly are other things to talk about. Bay Bridge is backed up for a little while, 15 to 20-minute delay before you make it onto the span. Southbound 280, coming out of Daly City, there's an accident here. Southbound 280 at Westboro in South City. So if you are driving, let's say, to the airport today, it might be a good day to get on El Camino Real and just use city streets to get to the airport instead of using 280 or 380 for that matter. A lot of people are on 380 as well. 101 is slow in the area. On the other side of the Bay, Hayward, Union City, Fremont, slow traffic. And look at that South Bay commute. It is all filled in. 8:33, let's go back to the desk.
All right, Sal, thank you. Here's a look at some of the top stories we're following for you. San Francisco police investigating a shooting involving a U.S. Park police officer near Aquatic Park last night. This happened around 9:30 on Van Ness, right in front of the gate for the municipal pier. One person was taken to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. Another person was detained. It is not clear at this moment what led up to that shooting. Well, instead of mega millions, how about $1 billion? The jackpot for Friday's drawing is approaching $1 billion. No one matched all 6 numbers, but there were still some big winners. We are learning new information about someone in the Bay Area who matched 5 of the 6 numbers. It appears that ticket was purchased in San Francisco. KTVU's Allie Rasmus is actually talking to the store manager at a Safeway in the Marina District. We'll check in with her as soon as she wraps up that interview.
8:34 here. It was 50 years ago today. 2 former San Jose State track stars, John Carlos and Tommy Smith, raised their fists in a Black Power salute on the medals podium at the 1968 Olympic Games. KTV Jesse Gary live at the San Jose State campus, where a day-long town hall discussion is getting underway, Jesse, on the impact of athlete activism on the world.
Garcia, Mike, good morning to you. Yeah, we're outside the town center because the program is just starting now. And you can see the security line behind me as people are going through the security check. This town hall is going to have speakers ranging from Tommy Smith and John Carlos to Dr. Harry Edwards. Let's go ahead and take a look at our video. Smith and Carlos made their gesture with a gloved fist in the air 50 years ago yesterday as they stood on the winner's podium at the 1968 Summer Olympics in Mexico City. They wanted to draw attention to their cause, but it cost them their gold and silver medals, respectively. Today, San Jose State honors that stance and looks at how athlete activism, stretching back from the 1960s to today, what's called the Age of Kaepernick, has impacted our country and the world at large.
Sport was never really meant to tear us apart. And sport is one of those things that really has been a touchstone, particularly the athlete activism. But I think we can turn that conversation around. And the thing that caused us to separate a little bit because of athlete activism in sport, I think done properly, that can actually bring us back together again.
Today's event wraps up at 12:30, but we'll have an update for you coming up on the 9s and then at the 12 noon news. We're live on the San Jose State campus this morning. Jesse Gary, KTVU Fox News. We'll head back to you. Welcome over.
All right, Jesse, thank you. Back to the Mega Millions we were talking about. KTV's Ali Rasmus is live there at the Safeway store in San Francisco's Marina District. And Ali, I know you just learned who matched 5 of the numbers. And how much is this winning ticket worth here?
Yes, that prize, $1.9 million. A Safeway employee, he works in the bakery, got 5 of the 6 winning Mega Millions numbers in this ticket last night, but he didn't even realize it until he came to work this morning. And I have the store manager with me, Leah Maxwell. And what was your reaction when you found out, and how did you find out that one of your employees was the winner?
Well, when I came in this morning, we were hoping that it was going to be one of the employees, but we were all talking. Nobody had the winning ticket. And then I got a phone call while I was in the back of the store from my booth manager who said it was one of our employees that won. I literally ran from the meat department all the way to the front lobby by customer service. I was probably screaming unprofessionally because I was super excited for him.
And how was he reacting?
Well, he was completely nervous. You could tell he was in shock. And then all of the employees kind of came to customer service, congregated, took pictures of him. We took a wonderful group photo, and, I took him to the back room and gave him some advice on what he should do, and we escorted him out.
And now he's on his way, hopefully, to claim his prize off the premises, away from the public eye. And were you surprised that it was a winning ticket that was sold here? And you said a lot of employees bought tickets here.
Yeah, well, we found out yesterday, because it was being, posted that the winning ticket, the 5 of 6 numbers, was sold here at our store. We all thought it was one of us. Whoever purchased the ticket here was hoping that we were going to be the winning ticket. But, we're the Marina Safeway. We have a great group of professionals that work here, and I'm very excited that it was one of our employees.
What can you tell us about the man who won? He's been here for 2 years. What kind of personality?
Been here for 2 years. A very hard worker, very nice man. I mean, that's all I really have to say. He's a great guy.
So very deserving of this.
Absolutely.
And do you expect him to be back tomorrow?
Probably not, but we'd welcome him, of course.
Leah Maxwell, the store manager for the Safeway here in the Marina in San Francisco, where a bakery employee, a man in his 20s, who's worked here for the past 2 years, unbeknownst to him, showed up for work early this morning, and then his coworkers had him check his ticket a second time, and then he realized that he had won 5 of the 6 winning numbers for the Mega Millions drawing, and so he gets to take home a $1.9 million prize. Live in San Francisco, Ali Rasmus, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
8:38 here. New this morning, a report out today is listing the Bay Area as having the roughest roads in the country. San Francisco and Oakland have the worst roads. San Jose came in second. A nonprofit transportation group called TRIP released the survey. It factored in pavement conditions, transportation funding, travel trends, and economic development. The group rated 71% of roads in San Francisco and 64% in San Jose as poor. The group says poor conditions, such as potholes and bumpy roads, cause excessive wear and tear on our vehicles. San Francisco drivers on average pay more than $1,000 in car repairs every year.
Recreational marijuana now legal in Canada. Canada's parliament passed legislation over the summer making it legal for adults to buy, possess, and grow recreational marijuana. The law took effect at midnight in each time zone. The first province to legally sell pot was Newfoundland. The legal age to buy marijuana will vary from 18 to 21, depending on the province. Recreational marijuana will soon be available for legal purchase in Sonoma County. According to the Press Democrat yesterday, the Board of Supervisors voted to start sales at marijuana dispensaries as early as mid-November. But with that decision comes some restrictions on marijuana farms. Supervisors decided to limit most farms to properties that are at least 10 acres or larger, which eliminates more than 5,100 properties that used to be eligible.
Today, Sonoma State University is opening an art exhibit on campus featuring photography, paintings, and videos that explore the aftermath of last year's North Bay wildfires. The art was created by people in the community, including first responders who were affected by the fires personally last October. The exhibit is called Reflections After the Fire. The art is on display at the Sonoma State Library. There will be an opening reception today at 4 o'clock.
Devastating floods in the state of Texas. Up next, a look at the damage and recovery efforts as parts of Texas declare a state of disaster.
Good morning. We still have problems in Oakland with that truck that flipped over. We also have a lot of slow traffic here, but we are making some progress. The truck has been righted. Looks like they may be getting ready to get it out of there.
And in weather, low clouds and fog still showing up in this picture, but beginning to break up a little bit. We'll talk more about a mild Wednesday forecast headed your way.
This portion of KGB News is sponsored by Honda. Great deals are waiting at your Honda dealer.
Just how much sugar is in your yogurt? Find out.
Hot Tub Swim Spa Super Sale this weekend only at the San Jose Convention Center. Exercise all year long in a low-maintenance swim spa. Number 1 rated swim spas will be on display and all 2018s have got to go. 200 units must be sold this Saturday and Sunday only at the San Jose Convention Center.
When Steve Poizner was insurance commissioner, he stood up to insurance companies and arrested those who commit the insurance fraud that drives up your rates. Now rates are skyrocketing, and Steve's running to do what he did before. Cut insurance rates. Last time, Steve cut them by $2 billion. That's why every single major California newspaper endorsed him, calling Steve by far the most qualified and the best choice. Steve Poizner, the strong, independent voice we need.
The epic love story of our time, Miss Saigon. Direct from Broadway. Miss Saigon.
Now playing through November 4th. Visit shnsf.com.
Steven Schwarzman, billionaire CEO of Blackstone Group, is one of the biggest landlords on the planet. A Donald Trump confidant, Schwarzman has built an empire, evicting tenants, pushing families from their homes. Schwarzman's Blackstone Group has now spent a whopping $6.8 million to oppose Prop 10. We can stop greedy landlords like Schwarzman. These trusted organizations are fighting back, endorsing Prop 10. Return power to local communities. Put a check on predatory landlords. Vote yes on 10.
Lazy Boy Furniture Galleries helps make your living room almost too comfortable. It's the biggest sale of the season. Right now, you can save 20% on everything in the store. Lazy Boy Furniture Galleries. Live life comfortably.
California's public schools rank 44th in the nation. 44th. I'm Marshall Tuck. I'm a public school parent, and I know we can do better. In the public schools I led, we got more funding than North Hospitals, supported our teachers, and we raised graduation rates by 60%. That's why President Obama's education secretary endorses me. We've done it before. Now, let's do it for every public school student in California. I'm Marshall Tuck. I'm running for state superintendent.
Hot Tub Swim Spa Super Sale this weekend only at the San Jose Convention Center. All 2018s must go new spas from $29.95. Sponsored by number 1 rated Marquee Hot Tubs. 200 units must be sold. 0% financing available and free admission. This Saturday and Sunday only at the San Jose Convention Center.
Developing news in Texas this morning. Dramatic video that shows the raging Llano River ripping a bridge right off its foundation. This happened in Kingsland, Texas, about 65 miles northwest of Austin following days of heavy rain. Authorities say one person was killed in flooding. Evacuations were ordered in Kingsland and Marble Falls, Texas. A week after Hurricane Michael made landfall, we now know at least 26 people have died from that storm. Vice President Mike Pence arrived in Georgia yesterday with his wife to tour some of the storm damage. The vice president traveled to a pecan plantation, and experts say that even if new trees were planted today, it would take about 20 years for them to start producing a usable crop.
We have new information to bring you into our newsroom. We have now confirmed the identity of a second person shot to death last weekend at a Halloween-themed birthday party in East Palo Alto. The San Mateo County Coroner's Office says 23-year-old Mario Mendez of Redwood City was killed, along with 22-year-old Eduardo Sandoval of Stockton. 2 other people were wounded in the shooting. They are expected to recover. The shooter has not been caught.
The case against the man accused of killing a young woman at Oakland's MacArthur BART station will go to trial. A grand jury in Alameda County indicted John Lee Cowell for the stabbing death of Nia Wilson. This indictment means there will be no preliminary hearing. This case will go straight to trial. Prosecutors say Cowell killed the 18-year-old woman and critically injured her sister in an unprovoked attack. Cowell is also accused of lying in wait, which could make him eligible for the death penalty. The public defenders representing Cowell say their client is mentally ill and was released from a state hospital 75 days before that BART attack in July. They say this should not be a death penalty case.
8:45 here. Let's help get you out the door. That's been a tough task today, Sal.
Yeah, you know, it also goes to show you, Garcia and Mike, that something doesn't necessarily have to be blocking lanes for it to slow traffic. Sometimes just being able to look at something interesting, human nature being what it is, will slow the traffic. I'll show you what I'm talking about in just a moment. But here we are with the Bay Bridge Toll Plaza, and you will see the traffic is going to be slow as you drive into San Francisco, but that has been a relatively routine commute. We've had the truck accident we've been talking about for a bit on Interstate 880, and I'm going to show you a picture of it here. The truck now being righted, and it's going to be towed away. So that trailer flipped over, was being hauled by a UPS tractor. They're cleaning up now, and it looks like we might be getting to near the end where they might be able to open the Hagenberger Road off-ramp. Traffic also, by the way, started flowing better once the truck looked like a truck again. And people were trying to figure out, what is that? Is that an overturn? What is that? So finally, we're getting a little bit of relief here. Let's talk about some of these other commutes now. You can see the toll plaza, we're back there. It's been normal. We also see South City has had a problem with southbound 288 Westboro. That's been there for more than an hour now. It was a motorcycle accident, and traffic is backed up nearly from 19th Avenue. Those of you who know the area, you know what to do. Maybe El Camino or some of the other streets there instead. 8:46. Let's bring Mark Tamayo in.
Hi there, Sal. Good morning to you. I'm working on a nice forecast for today. The low clouds decided to pay us a visit once again this morning. Into the afternoon hours, the clouds will clear back to near the coastline. So beaches, mid-60s, around the bay, approaching the mid-70s. Inland spots, we're still talking about some 80s, around 83 to 85 degrees. Satellite showing you this. We do have the fog kind of hanging out near portions of our coastline. Starting to see some more development up here, up to our north and to our west. No signs of, as far as the rainfall this week, maybe next week, some of the forecast models hinting at that possibility, but we really can't pinpoint that just yet. As far as our local satellite right now, we're coming closer. Here we go, the fog hanging out near the coastline over portions of the bay and toward Santa Rosa, reporting some fog all morning long. Cloud decks, though, beginning to lift up a little bit. That trend will continue over the next few hours. Current numbers still showing you 45 in Fairfield, Napa 47, San Francisco 54, and San Jose checking in 54 degrees. Here's our live camera looking out toward the estuary here, toward the Oakland Alameda estuary. Still some calm conditions on the water, but that cloud, at least the low cloud, still out there, but beginning to break up a little bit so far this morning. Here's a swell we're tracking, so if you are heading to the coast, just be extra careful, especially tomorrow. What's happening, we have some energy moving in from the north and from the west. That same system I showed you offshore, that's also producing the swell. So this will be peaking tomorrow, maybe wave faces 8 to 12 feet, and then coming down just a little bit in the Friday forecast. Here's the plan for today. Clouds this morning will clear back to near the shoreline. Around the bay, partly sunny skies, more sunshine inland, and we're showing you some 70s and some 80s. San Francisco, 68, Pacifica, 64, and a few more neighborhoods with San Jose checking in 79 and some lower 80s for Morgan Hill and Gilroy. We're cruising as we head toward the weekend. No major changes here, just some 80s inland. Could be a little bit warmer by Friday. Mike.
All right, Mark, thank you. Disney on Ice is bringing 100 years of magic right here to the Bay Area. Coming up on the night, we talk live to one of the local performers. Also, some good news for people looking to land themselves tickets to Candytopia in San Francisco. Up next, what's happening today at noon.
Special announcement. Today at 11 on KTVU Fox 10. Before you can surf roads, lanes, dirt, and mud, see your Jeep dealer for great deals on Jeep brand vehicles. During Jeep Adventure Days, well-qualified lessees of competitive vehicles get a low mileage lease with a 2018 Grand Cherokee for $179 a month. Hurry to your Jeep brand dealer.
Before he was running for state superintendent, Politician Tony Thurmond was responsible for a school district with widespread budget problems. Ranked last in the state for failing to serve students of color. Sued for leaving at-risk students in rotting trailers with mushrooms growing in the floors. Reprimanded by the Obama administration for failing to address widespread sexual harassment and assault in district schools. Tony Thurmond failed the students he was supposed to help. California deserves better.
Okay, Dad, just
Hi, welcome to Honda.
I'm here to get a new car for my new job.
First job, first car. Have one in mind?
I really like the Civic.
Oh, just,
Awesome. We have 5 Civic models, and they all come standard with Bluetooth hands-free link.
we're gonna talk all the time.
I love the sedan.
5. We got 5. The right Civic is waiting for you. The Civic family from Honda. KBB.com's 2017 Best Value brand.
Dialysis is life support. I'm considered on life support. Kidney failure affects many people. They're not going to be better off if Proposition 8 passes. Dialysis units will close. People will flood the emergency rooms. The people who wrote this proposition, I would like to look them right in the face and have them tell me how it's going to help me. If I don't do dialysis, I die. Don't put dialysis patients' lives at risk. Vote no on Prop 8.
Before you can surf roads, lanes, dirt, and mud, see your Jeep dealer for great deals on Jeep brand vehicles. During Jeep Adventure Days, well-qualified lessees of competitive vehicles get a low-mileage lease with a 2018 Grand Cherokee for $179 a month. Hurry to your Jeep brand dealer. When news breaks, you have the power of two.
We want to go to some breaking news.
Firefighters are at the scene like a bomb went off, she told us in Spanish.
Live on Fox 2.
Area workers on strike.
I'm wondering if they away from the street.
Always on KTVU.com.
The fire is still 0% contained.
I can't imagine somebody with a win.
One more way the power of two works for you.
Welcome back to Mornings on 2. Wall Street continues its big swings up and down, and today one stock that's up is Bay Area's Netflix. Let's check in with Pam Cook. This morning's dollars and cents, Pam.
Good morning. Netflix beat the street's estimates for the third quarter, signed 2 million more new subscribers than analysts expected. When the opening bell rang this morning, Netflix stock shot up about 5%. It's hovered between 5 and 6%, but IBM missed estimates, and housing starts and building permits for September were disappointing. Now that's helping take the broader markets down this morning. The Dow Jones, though, coming back quite a bit. In the last hour, is down about 250 points. Here's a live look at the big board. It's still down, but 92 points, only 1/3%. So we might see more fluctuations as the day continues. The S&P 500 down about 1/4% as well. Same for the NASDAQ. It is now at 76.22. YouTube working again this morning. That's after it went down worldwide for about an hour last night. It went offline at about 7 o'clock last night. When it came back on, YouTube thanked viewers for their patience, but did not provide any details of what went wrong. The Philadelphia Police Department had a response, though, that went viral. They tweeted, quote, "Yes, our YouTube is down too. No, please don't call 911. We can't fix it." You may not be aware, but this is National Pizza Month, and a new ranking of the top 10 pizza cities in the U.S. puts San Francisco among the top 5. TripAdvisor says it ranked the cities based on the quality and quantity of reviews. New York came in at number 1, followed by Chicago, and then Las Vegas. San Francisco came in at number 4, followed by Orlando, Florida. And San Francisco's pop-up Candytopia Museum is extending its stay. After 3 successful months of drawing sold-out crowds, Candytopia will stay open through the Christmas holiday season to January 6th. The Market Street Museum celebrates everything candy with interactive experiences, including that very popular marshmallow pit. Tickets go on sale at noon today for the extended time. You do have to buy your tickets in advance, not at the door, and they are expected to sell out once again very quickly. I'm Pam Cook in the newsroom with a look at your dollars and cents. Let's go back to Mike.
All right, Pam, thank you. Multiple felony charges against a South Bay doctor. Coming up on the 9, the drugs he is accused of handing out to patients who did not even need them.
In an emergency, seconds matter. That's why Prop 6 is so dangerous. There are more than 3,600 deaths on California roads every year, many caused by bad infrastructure. Prop 6 eliminates more than $5 billion a year in funds dedicated to fixing roads, bridges, and infrastructure. That delays emergency response times and puts Californians at risk. Getting to the scene quickly could mean the difference between life and death. Join public safety leaders. No on 6.
Here's to the stair takers, breakfast makers, step counters, outdoor explorers, faith restorers, appointment keepers, fantastic creatures, farmers market goers, cholesterol lowerers, cell phone silencers, the new lease on lifers, and the positive thinkers. Here's to you all that see every day as an opportunity to thrive your way.
It's Ford SUV season in California. See why more people return to Ford than any other brand. Here's a reason. We've got room. And here's another.
Waze says it's faster to take the side streets.
Perfect. Plus, Ford has won more J.D. Power Initial Quality Awards than any other brand. That's California smart. Get a new Escape, Edge, or Explorer at 0 for 60 plus 1,500 bonus cash, or get 5,000 total cash on Explorer. Only at your California Ford dealers. Learn more at buyfordnow.com.
The cost of housing in California can be a backbreaker if you're like me living on a fixed income. So when I heard about Prop 10, I read up. Watch out. Prop 10 does the opposite of what it says. Prop 10 has no protections for renters, veterans, or seniors. Prop 10 will drive up rents, make housing less affordable and less available. That's the last thing we need. That's why seniors say no on 10. It makes a bad problem worse.
Wednesday, our friend Dan Jones returns to the couch. We're talking hot topics that special way only Dan can.
Today at 10 on KTVU Fox 2.
8:56 here new this morning. A rocket is blasted off from Cape Canaveral carrying a $2 billion satellite that's very important to the nation's defense system. The satellite is part of a secured network where the president can communicate with military commanders, even during a nuclear conflict. The satellite can withstand the most powerful jamming devices, along with the effects of a nearby nuclear blast. The U.S., Canada, United Kingdom, and Netherlands share these satellites. San Francisco supervisors are holding a hearing today about the vetting process of city contractors' safety records. This comes after the death of construction worker Patrick Ricketts on the Twin Peaks Tunnel project. KTVU looked at federal records for the Shinnick Construction Company that Ricketts worked for. We found 39 safety violations in the past 10 years that had not been reported to the city. They included one death and several severe injuries. Today's hearing will start at 10. The Oakland Zoo has no plans to raise the railing at its tiger attraction, but the zoo is warning the public about following safety guidelines after this video caught a man climbing over a protective barrier to retrieve an item outside the tiger enclosure last Sunday. You see the tiger approach the fence as the man starts to climb down. KTVU just spoke with the woman who recorded this video.
No one was expecting that. Their kids are there. They don't know. They can do that. They can call me, off the fence and think everything is fine. Nothing's going to happen to them because somebody else did.
Now, the viewing deck railing is 42 inches high, and it's meant to keep people from the second barrier fence, that's 5 feet away. There were 4 female tigers in the enclosure. The zoo says that they caught the man who climbed down the fence. He would have been kicked out of the zoo. You may remember the San Francisco Zoo made changes to its tiger grotto after a deadly attack on Christmas Day back in 2007. A Siberian tiger escaped from her cage, killing one zoo visitor and seriously wounding 2 brothers. The zoo raised the concrete wall around the enclosure to 19 feet and added plexiglass to the top of the wall, along with electrified wiring and surveillance cameras. Changes were also made to fortify the lion exhibit. A ferry company will pay $2.7 million to settle allegations that it violated San Francisco healthcare laws. City leaders announced the settlement with San Francisco-based Hornblower Yachts and its affiliate Alcatraz Cruises. The city's attorney's office claims the ferry companies created complicated eligibility policies to deny workers health benefits that are required under city ordinance. The companies have not publicly responded to the settlement. Across the bay, the Oakland City Council has approved a safe parking program for homeless people who live in their cars. City leaders agreed to spend $300,000 in the next year to offer safe places for those who are homeless to park in the overnight hours. The plan was backed by local churches and calls for several special parking lots around the city that will have security officers and an on-site coordinator, as well as portable restrooms. In 2 hours from now, San Francisco will have its first high-tech garbage can. The European waste reduction company, PEL, is installing the street bin at the UN Plaza area. It's part of a 6-month trial to see how it's going to hold up. Now, this bin is solar-powered, has an anti-graffiti coating, and it can crush the garbage inside the machine to save space. It is also connected to the internet, and it can alert trash haulers as to when it needs to be unloaded. The city hopes the garbage can will be less prone to vandalism and overflowing. New this morning, there are new rules for San Francisco's taxi medallion system. According to the Chronicle, the MTA approved most of the proposed reforms for the government-issued medallion permits. Among the changes, medallions can be sold to drivers outside of San Francisco. A proposal to restrict SFO pickups, though, was rejected. The reforms are the latest move to help drivers who've lost businesses to rideshare services.
Today at 9, it's a big day for Canada as it becomes the largest country to legalize the sale of recreational marijuana.
And the Mega Millions jackpot rises again, inching toward $1 billion after no one hits all 6 winning numbers.
Plus, Disney on Ice is skating back to the Bay Area. We'll talk with a local member of the cast on everything the new show has to offer.
All right. Welcome to the 9. The Bay Area weather, a little bit of cloudy weather here along the coast, but it's going to be sunny and nice, according to meteorologist Mark Mayo. On this October 17th, I want to show you this video because people are talking about it. This is a robotic dog doing its thing here. And believe it or not, this seems funny to you, but UC Berkeley debuted this. This was debuted at UC Berkeley. It's a dog from Boston Mechanics. And they are going to use it to, do some serious things. It will be used for business applications such as inspecting construction sites. You'll eventually be able to order one, Mike. You like dogs. You'll have a dog.
We do not have a dog.
You don't have a pet.
No.
Why would I order that?
Right. What can it do for me?
Is it for entertainment purposes?
Sure.
Around the house to do just that?
Yeah.
Because I can see that. I would order that. My children would get a kick out of it.
Yeah.
I get a kick out of it.
Well, it depends on how expensive it is, I guess.
Well, if it's $30, I'll go for it. I have a feeling.
I'm not feeling zero.
Exactly.
Different story.
I also want to mention something that just took so many of us by surprise this morning, really marking an achievement. We grew up with Big Bird and Oscar the Grouch, and so we start the 9 today with some news that after 50 years, the man who was behind Big Bird and Oscar the Grouch is retiring.
Oh, no.
Yes, Carol Spinney. Big Bird and Oscar the Grouch are not going away, but this does mark a moment in time for Carol Spinney, who is now 84 years old. There he is in the center with the white-haired glasses and the beard. He joined Sesame Street when it debuted back in 1969. Since then, he has been the heart and the soul of 2 of the most beloved, iconic characters in television history. Carol Spinney has appeared on an estimated 4,500 Sesame Street episodes, and his tenure spans 9 U.S. presidents. He told the New York Times today, in recent years, the physical demands of his performances have become more and more difficult. But Spinney says playing Big Bird has been one of the most joyous things of his life. And just so you know, there's a documentary called I Am Big Bird. For decades, Carol Spinney has had one hand up here, he'll do this up here, working Big Bird's mouth, and his other hand is here. He works one arm, which is attached by an invisible string to the other, so that's why you see Big Bird's both arms moving while one hand is up here. Incredible physical work.
I mean, I never really watched Sesame Street growing
I
up.
can't believe that, but go on.
I mean, I know the characters, but, no matter what you do in life, if you do 5 decades of the same gig and you do it great, you have to tip your cap.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, all right. It's sad to be retiring, but he had a good run.
He had a very good run, and those characters continue. So thank you and congratulations to Carol.
All right. We're learning more information about San Francisco's newest millionaire, and just wait till you hear this. As we first reported last hour, a Safeway employee matched 5 of the 6 numbers in last night's Mega Millions drawing. KTVU's Allie Rasmus is live at the store in the Marina District there, and she learned about this worker. Allie, this is a pretty cool story.
Yes, this worker came to work early this morning, and he hadn't even realized that he had a winning ticket. So he gets to take home a $1.9 million prize because he didn't get the Mega Millions jackpot, but he matched 5 of the 6 winning numbers. He is a bakery employee here at this Safeway in the Marina District. This is where he bought his Mega Millions ticket. He
wanted to maintain his anonymity, so we didn't get a chance to talk to him, but we did talk to his store manager, and she describes what it was like when she found out that one of her employees had won this partial winning Mega Millions ticket. She says that the guy didn't even realize it at first until some of his other coworkers told him to take a closer look at his ticket. Apparently, a lot of Safeway employees bought Mega Millions tickets here over the past couple of days, so everyone was checking to see if they had the winning one. This 2-year bakery employee realized that he had the winning ticket. Here's how his store manager describes his reaction.
He was completely nervous. You could tell he was in shock. And then all of the employees kind of came to customer service, congregated, took pictures of him. We took a wonderful group photo, and, I took him to the back room and gave him some advice on what he should do, and we escorted him out.
Our first winning number tonight is 69.
So he's hopefully on his way to the Lotto District Office to claim his $1.9 million prize. Now, no one won the Mega Millions jackpot in the drawing last night, so that means the grand prize is growing, and it's growing by the minute. Earlier this morning, it was $868 million for the next drawing, which is Friday, but last time I went in to the Safeway to check the digital ticker that they have here, it looks like it has gone up now to $900 million, so it's going to be likely the second largest lotto prize in U.S. history. But again, $1.9 million is a pretty nice amount of cash to take home for this Safeway employee. He worked in the bakery for the past 2 years, came to work just like any other day, and then left here early, realizing that he had been a partial winner of that Mega Millions ticket. Back to you guys.
That's a great day at work, I should say. A baker from San Francisco, what do you think that individual does? Do you think that person continues to work in the bakery? Maybe he opens up his own shop?
That would be great.
That would be
There
fun,
you go.
right?
I mean, to me, I don't know, the 1.9, I mean, after taxes, more like one, a little something, is retiring money.
Buys a house, maybe? I didn't
There
retire.
you hit the nail on the head. In the, well, not in the Bay Area.
Somewhere in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
Buy a house, invest the rest.
Well, put a down payment on a house anyway.
Right. Congratulations,
And
Dan.
I wonder if that person buys more lotto tickets because no one actually won.
No, there's
the big
still,
prize.
yeah.
He's got money to buy a
Or
house.
pay while you're ahead.
Tickets.
Right.
We are also following another developing story out of San Francisco where police are investigating a shooting involving a U.S. Park Police officer. This happened at Aquatic Park. KTVU's Sarah Zenanon live there at the scene where she spoke with people in the area. Sarah.
Well, yeah, there are a lot of people around here. Some people are running, some fishing. Definitely a popular area around Municipal Pier here. Now, we did talk to one woman who today said that she was here actually last night, and she explains the commotion that she heard after the shooting.
I was down here last night, and I saw about 20 cop cars coming down here because I had a meeting at my club, and about 9:30 I was in my car at Van Ness, and cop car after cop car went by, and so I was wondering what was going on.
A little bit of background, the San Francisco Police Department says a call came in for shots fired in this area near Aquatic Park around 9:30 last night. According to the department, a U.S. Park Police officer was involved in the shooting. Also involved, 2 other people. One was seriously injured and taken to the hospital with life-threatening injuries, and another person was detained by police. We don't know the ages or genders of anyone involved at this point. We also don't know what led up to the shooting, but we do know the SFPD is investigating to get answers to those questions. The scene is cleared, and it cleared around 5:30 this morning after 2 tow trucks moved 2 cars from the scene. One car was a green Toyota. The other car was a U.S. Park Police patrol vehicle. Now, we are working to get more information on this officer-involved shooting from the San Francisco Police Department. The SFPD is investigating this along with the District Attorney's Office. So stick with us for more on this developing story. For now, in San Francisco, Sarah Zenanon, KTVU Fox 2 News.
At the White House this morning, President Trump said he has requested the audio and video that Turkish officials have said they have, proving that journalist Jamal Khashoggi was killed at the Saudi consulate in Istanbul. Now, as Rich Edson reports from Washington, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is on his way back to the U.S. after meeting with both Saudi and Turkish officials about the journalist's disappearance.
Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is returning from Saudi Arabia and Turkey, working to find out what happened to columnist Jamal Khashoggi.
He made clear that the Saudis had cooperated with the investigation that the Turks are engaged in, and that they're going to share information that they learned with the Saudis as well.
The secretary says it's reasonable to give the Saudis the space to investigate.
I stress the importance of them conducting a complete investigation of the disappearance of Jamal Khashoggi. They made a commitment. They said they would do that. They said it would be a thorough, complete
and transparent investigation. We'll all see the results of that.
The Trump administration has warned of consequences for those found responsible for Khashoggi's disappearance. He was last seen entering the Saudi consulate in Turkey over 2 weeks ago. The administration has offered no details on what it would do. Khashoggi's family says it wants an independent international investigation. A pro-government Turkish newspaper says the investigation there indicates the Saudi writer was beaten, drugged, and killed. Turkish police are preparing to search the Saudi consul general's residence, as Democrats and Republicans are calling for consequences.
This is an important relationship, but we have to hold our allies and our partners to standards that, at least for now, appear were not met.
There's growing pressure on Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin to cancel his trip to a Saudi investment conference next week. The administration says the Treasury Secretary will make his decision by the end of this week. At the State Department, Rich Edson, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
Today, a political candidate in Afghanistan was killed by a bomb planted under his chair ahead of elections this coming weekend. The man who was killed was running for a parliamentary seat. 3 other people were killed in the attack. The Taliban, which is boycotting the elections, claimed responsibility for that attack. The man killed today is the 10th candidate killed in the past 2 months. The Taliban has threatened to attack polling places. The parliamentary elections have been delayed for more than 4 years due to security concerns.
PG&E now says the power is back on to everyone whose power was turned off on Sunday because of high fire danger. PG&E cut the power to 17,000 customers in the North Bay Sunday night, most of them in Lake County and Napa County. This was the first time PG&E had proactively turned off electricity as a precaution to try to prevent wildfires. Some people who were affected say they support the action, but some North Bay lawmakers say PG&E needs to do better at communicating with the public than next time.
The wind, I was really grateful. You know, they turned the power off. I could rest easier. So I thought that was a good reason. I think it saved us.
We have to learn from the mistakes that were made, and we have to do better. PG&E has to do better.
PG&E says these preemptive power outages are the new normal and says they'll do it whenever weather conditions create an extreme risk of wildfires.
The Golden State Warriors opened their season with a win last night against the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Thunder played without All-Star Russell Westbrook. Still, they were able to keep the game pretty close with both teams exchanging buckets. In the end, the Warriors would win this one 108-100. Steph Curry with a great game, very close to a triple-double.
Before the game, the Warriors raised another championship banner into the rafters at Oracle Arena. KTVU's Paul Chambers has more on the celebration and a look at the team's last season in Oakland.
Everyone was on their feet as Dub Nation celebrated the 2017-2018 NBA champs, the Golden State Warriors.
It means a lot. It's the last game ring ceremony here in Oakland.
For the 3rd time in 4 years, the Dubs took part in the championship ring ceremony. Fans were going wild as their favorite players were awarded the supersized rings. But as it was a joyous occasion, all here aren't happy because this is the end of the era. The last time the Warriors will kick off their season in Oakland.
It's very bittersweet. Been coming here since I was a kid. My mom, she got the season tickets.
Since 1971, the Warriors have called the town home. But come next year, Steph Curry and crew will go across the bay to San Francisco.
It's kind of sad, you know, for the simple fact that they've taken so long, 40 years of bad streak, and then finally to get good, and then to get ready to go.
Very emotional. We've been coming here since we were little, and you know, it's going to be a little challenging to just cross the bridge and go over there and watch the game.
I'm bummed that we're moving the Oakland Raiders, right? And then all we have left is the A's. We need some money back into Oakland.
Not all Warrior fans are upset. Those who live on the other side of the bay say it'll be nice to have the team closer to home. But all agree no matter where they play, nothing will beat the sounds of the crowds at Oracle.
I'm going to miss Oracle. We've been here for 7 years. This has been our life. But I'm excited to see the new arena as well.
We'll go across the bay, be in the new Chase Center, but it's not going to be Oracle.
It's not going to be Oracle, it's not going to be home, but it'll be home 2.0.
Paul Chambers, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
Let's give you a look here at the Warriors championship ring. It has a reversible face, so you can actually flip it from a white diamond top over to a blue sapphire. There are 74 diamonds and sapphires on top to represent the total wins last season, including playoffs. Under the top, we see the Warriors slogan, strength in numbers. The ring's designer said most of the players on the championship team described what they wanted to see in the Warriors Raptors' third championship ring in 4 years.
That's a pretty smooth ring, right?
I can see Draymond rolling around with that thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Actually wearing it, which I don't know what everybody does, but...
Yes, I'm glad you translated. Wearing it for people. This is how I roll, which means this is how I present myself in daily life.
I will say this, I kind of agree with some of the fans that they should be playing this season for everyone in Oakland. I mean, this is their last year, so, you know, every night they take the court, they should be thinking about that as they look forward to hopefully this third championship in a row.
Absolutely. Coming up in a second here on Mornings on 2 tonight, ice cream and voting. The Museum of Ice Cream is encouraging people to have their voices heard in the midterm elections. Up next, how it's helping people register to vote and what you'll get for free if you do.
Why does San Francisco's homeless problem keep getting worse? Because instead of new ideas, we just keep throwing more money at programs that don't work. In 2001, the city spent $140 million, and we had more than 7,000 homeless. Today, the city spends $380 million a year. We still have 7,000 on the streets. Prop C, a new $300 million tax, would double what we spend now. No plan, no reforms, no accountability. Just throwing more money at the same failed strategy. Vote no on Prop C.
Now is the perfect time to start planning your next getaway. And Expedia travel expert Mark Tavender says Paris is a destination that stands as a beacon above the rest.
I could be here all day telling you about what's magical about this city, but to name a few, the food, the wine, the architecture and the art, all those things that Paris is famous for. This is a city where I absolutely recommend seeing those iconic landmarks.
If you prefer to go beyond the landmarks, Mark offers this advice.
If you want to get out of the city, then it only takes an hour before you're in the French countryside.
It's possible to see the world and stay on a budget.
At Expedia, we are in the business of helping people go places. So we have invented ways of making that even easier if you are on a budget. Add-on Advantage is a program that allows you to save 40% when you book a flight and a hotel. The great thing about this, though, is that you don't have to book them at the same time.
To plan your next dream vacation, visit Expedia.com.
Community dialysis clinics provide life-saving treatments for patients.
Community dialysis clinics? That's a lot. These are corporate profit centers making billions of dollars, charging some patients up to $150,000 per year, driving up insurance rates, while patients report blood stains and cockroaches. Prop 8 will bring change. Prop 8 holds big dialysis accountable for quality of care, because kidney patients deserve better. Yes on 8.
This portion of KTVU News is sponsored by Honda. Great deals are waiting at your Honda dealer.
Taking a look at your money this morning, the Dow Jones Industrial slipped a couple hundred points. Now it's back to only down about 12 points, down about less than 1% here. And the other blue chip stocks, the broader market down. Nasdaq is down a little bit. S&P 500 is up, and Netflix stock, the Barry's own, is up 5%.
Let's get you new information now about First Lady Melania Trump's plane that was forced to return to Joint Base Andrews this morning. According to the press pool, about 10 minutes after the plane took off, reporters could see smoke and they smelled something burning. Reporters were brought wet towels and told to hold them over their faces as the smell became too strong. The plane landed safely. Mrs. Trump is okay. Everyone else on board is fine as well. A crew member told the Fox producer the smoke was from a communications unit that overheated. The White House has not confirmed that. The First Lady was heading to Philadelphia to talk about opioids. The White House says this trip is being reevaluated.
Today, Senator Dianne Feinstein and State Senator Kevin De Leon will go head-to-head for the one and only time before Election Day, and there's actually a debate about whether to call this a debate. The two Democrats will appear together today at an event in San Francisco, and Feinstein's campaign calls it a debate because the candidates will answer questions from a moderator. But De Leon's team rejects that, saying the two candidates are not allowed to address each other, only the moderator. We will carry the discussion between Feinstein and De Leon live on KTVU Plus starting at noon. The event is being held at the Public Policy Institute of California in San Francisco.
Happening today, the Museum of Ice Cream in San Francisco is holding an event this afternoon designed to get people to register to vote. Mayor London Breed will speak at the Scoop the Vote event today at 4 o'clock. Tomorrow through Monday, the Museum of Ice Cream will give a free ice cream scooper to the first 1,000 people who register to vote at the Pint Shop, the retail shop next to the museum.
Oakland Mayor Libby Schaaf says the new report vindicates her decision to warn Oakland residents about an impending ice raid earlier this year. Vice News says it obtained records that show half of the 111 undocumented immigrants who were picked up in February had no criminal convictions. Only a half of those arrested have been convicted of a serious crime in the past 10 years. At the time, the Trump administration lashed out at Mayor Schaaf, accusing her of helping hardened criminals elude capture. Mayor Schaaf responded to the Vice News report.
The facts that are shown in these public records are in stark contrast to the racist and fear-mongering rhetoric that both the head of the ICE agency and the president himself have used to talk about immigration enforcement in this country.
Mayor Schaaf says President Trump has been using lies to get more support for immigration raids that target undocumented immigrants in sanctuary cities such as Oakland.
Former California Congresswoman Mary Bono is now out as the interim president of the USA Gymnastics after only 5 days on the job. Bono stepped down amid criticism over a tweet she sent last month about Colin Kaepernick and Nike. In the tweet, Bono used a black marker to cover up the Nike logo to show her displeasure with the company's ad campaign featuring the former 49ers quarterback. Nike sponsors USA Gymnastics. Bono served 15 years in the House and is the widow of Sonny Bono. Four-time Olympic gold medalist Simone Biles questioned Bono's appointment at the time. Biles tweeted, "Don't worry, it's not like we needed a smarter USA Gymnastics president or any sponsors or anything." USA Gymnastics is still struggling to recover from the Larry Nassar scandal, in which more than 200 athletes said they were sexually abused. Before Mary Bono took the job as interim president, Terry Perry resigned after 9 months on the job. Among her decisions was hiring a coach who initially defended Nassar.
All right, coming up on Mornings on 2 to 9, Canada is now the largest country to legalize marijuana nationwide. Up next, the effort underway to change the opinion of marijuana and why officials hope it will decrease crime.
I got a special announcement. Maria. Today at 11 on KTVU Fox 10.
In an emergency, seconds matter. That's why Prop 6 is so dangerous. There are more than 3,600 deaths on California roads every year, many caused by bad infrastructure. Prop 6 eliminates more than $5 billion a year in funds dedicated to fixing roads, bridges, and infrastructure. That delays emergency response times and puts Californians at risk. Getting to the scene quickly could mean the difference between life and death. Join public safety leaders. No on 6.
Dialysis is life support. I'm considered on life support. Kidney failure affects many people. They're not going to be better off if Proposition 8 passes. Dialysis units will close. People will flood the emergency rooms. The people who wrote this proposition, I would like to look them right in the face and have them tell me how it's going to help me. If I don't do dialysis, I die. Don't put dialysis patients' lives at risk. Vote no on Prop 8.
Is that him?
Yeah, I think that's him.
My baby is home.
Let me go with you. I can handle myself.
We will get what's ours. If somebody's got to risk their life for this family, it's gonna be me.
Empire, tonight at 8 on KTVU Fox 10.
Canada is now officially the largest country to allow legal recreational marijuana. Starting today, adults can buy it, possess it, and grow it. Brian Yemis has more from Montreal.
I can't believe we did. All the years of activism paid off. Cannabis is legal in Canada.
Our neighbors to the north are now lining up legally. Recreational marijuana sales officially kicked off at midnight here in Canada. It's now the largest country to legalize pot nationwide, and officials here have high hopes it will keep pot out of the hands of underage users and reduce crime.
We're taking it's very much an evolutionary process.
that's going to evolve over the next couple of years, and particularly evolve very much over the coming year. For pro-pot advocates, this is the culmination of a decades-long political battle, and there was a party-like atmosphere at some stores as the new law went into effect. The first person to make a purchase called himself a marijuana connoisseur, not a pothead, and says he's trying to contribute to a cultural shift.
To be part of History 1 and to finally see the end of the social stigma that surrounds cannabis users.
Now the question is, will pot sales here push states back home into considering legalization? Some border states like Maine and Washington already have legal pot sales, but others, especially big population states like New York, may feel the pressure to change their laws, especially when folks can just drive across the border to make a purchase.
We're starting to ask questions in other countries. Hey, if Canada's doing this, how come we're not?
In addition to the storefronts, Canadians can also purchase marijuana online and have it delivered to their front door. In Montreal, Brian Yennis, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
We have a follow-up story this morning to a story we reported Tuesday about a South Bay doctor accused of illegally providing people with powerful drugs. An online profile describes Dr. Ben Ganachi as a pain management specialist. He is charged with 7 felonies, including 6 counts of illegally distributing an opioid and 1 count of healthcare fraud. Federal prosecutors say between November of last year and March of this year, he distributed hydrocodone a half dozen times for, quote, knowing and intending that the distribution was outside the scope of professional practice and not for a legitimate medical purpose, end quote. These allegations come as a shock to those who work in the same San Jose medical office complex as the doctor.
We were just so in shock. We were scared, like we didn't know what's going on because it's right next door, our neighbor.
A witness says law enforcement searched the doctor's offices several weeks ago and seized boxes of medication. If convicted, the doctor faces a maximum of 20 years in prison and $1 million fine for each of the 6 drug charges and an additional 10 years in prison for the insurance fraud count.
A deadly bacteria is threatening California's sea lion population. The infection is called leptospirosis. It's made more than 220 sea lions sick so far this year. The Marine Mammal Center up in Marin County is rescuing sea lions up and down the coast, and they say the bacteria attacks their kidneys and can kill them. Rescuers see these bacteria outbreaks every 4 to 5 years, but they're not sure why.
And so this year has been, so far, the second largest outbreak that we've recorded, and we don't really see end in sight right now. We're still rescuing about 6 sea lions a day at this point.
Rescuers say not all sea lions get sick from the bacteria, but the Marine Mammal Center says of those that do get sick, about 2/3 of them will die despite being treated with antibiotics. Coming up on Mornings on To the 9, marking a major moment of social activism in the world of sports. Up next, the event happening right now in San Jose State to mark 50 years since Tommy Smith and John Carlos gave a Black Power salute at the Olympics.
And Duncan has expanded its Bay Area reach. Up next, a look at the long lines for this morning's opening of the Next Generation store, now ready for business in San Carlos.
I worked with President Obama to bring positive change to our schools. Now, proven public education leader Marshall Tuck will bring the same commitment to improving schools in California. He turned around the toughest schools, raising graduation rates dramatically. But change isn't easy. Sacramento interests are attacking Marshall with false claims because he'll fight for kids, not the status quo. Marshall Tuck will be the best superintendent for all California students.
Titus has all the top brands of tires.
Yes, indeed. Take these Michelin tires, for example. Or these Goodyear tires, over here.
Now at Midas, get up to $200 off select Goodyear and Cooper tires with the Midas credit card. Request your appointment today.
At IKEA, we believe that everything you need should be within reach. In an affordable dream kitchen that works as hard as you do. IKEA family members get 10% off their purchase at the IKEA Kitchen event.
The semi-annual warehouse liquidation sale at Airport Home Appliance is back. This Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we're opening our 100,000 square foot warehouse to the public. You'll find washers and dryers as low as $99 each, refrigerators as low as $199, and dishwashers as low as $99. First come, first served. This is the sale you won't want to miss. Only at the Airport Home Appliance Warehouse, 3525 Arden Road in Hayward.
When Steve Poizner was insurance commissioner, he stood up to insurance companies and arrested those who commit the insurance fraud that drives up your rates. Now rates are skyrocketing, and Steve's running to do what he did before. Cut insurance rates. Last time, Steve cut them by $2 billion. That's why every single major California newspaper endorsed him, calling Steve by far the most qualified and the best choice. Steve Poizner, the strong, independent voice we need.
Did you know the UPS Store offers notary services? Visit the upsstore.com for locations.
Welcome back to Mornings on 2 to 9. It's a beautiful sunny day. It should be a nice day here in the Bay Area. However, it's a different story in the Sierra, where Tahoe ski resorts are looking ahead to the upcoming ski season. Snowmaking machines got turned on for the first time this fall at Squaw Valley yesterday. Temperatures dipped into the 20s around Lake Tahoe on Monday night, so they took the opportunity to make sure those snowmaking machines are ready for winter. And if all goes as planned, opening day at Squaw Valley is just 1 month away. That is scheduled for November 16th. And I did see...
Crank him up.
I know. I saw Mark Tamayo one time when I was skiing, and of course, he was snowboarding. Shredding it, Mark.
As the young ones do.
That's right, Mark. You remember that?
That was a good time, guys. Yeah, with Sal and I think we went up into the powder slopes and really.
It was a good day. I remember it.
It was a good day. Yeah. So that was the real storm that produces all the real soft powder. So it's that snowmaking adds a nice little base, a nice little foundation for them, at least to add the snowpack on. So exciting times. The Sierra could just essentially transform over the next few weeks. We'll be watching out for that. In fact, take a look at the current numbers around the Tahoe region. Right now it's 34 in South Lake Tahoe. Truckee's 32 and Incline Village reporting 41 degrees. It's interesting because you had the very chilly start and then a very nice afternoon in the Sierra. At least that's what's shaping up this week. Now for us, we're still tracking some scattered low clouds and fog around the bay. Into the afternoon hours, mostly sunny skies, except that we could have some patchy fog hanging on coastline. The beaches, mid-60s around the bay. Around 75, 76 degrees. Inland neighborhoods around 82 to 83. Here's a satellite showing you this. We actually have a storm out here in the Pacific. No rainfall for us just yet. We'll have to keep an eye next week to see if things could develop for us, but still can't pinpoint anything just yet. At least right now, though, we're still talking about some low clouds hanging out near the coastline and also some patches right around the bay, but those clouds beginning to lift and temperatures beginning to warm up this morning. Right now, we have Santa Rosa 49, San Francisco 55, Mountain View 57, and San Jose in the upper 50s, 58 degrees. We do have this, a northwest swell on the way, so if you are heading to the coast, be extra careful because the waves will be building. Today, we're kind of setting the stage. Peaking tomorrow, waves could be, the face is around 8 to 12 feet, coming down a little bit into Friday, but with that northwest swell, that will increase the rip current activity. That will also introduce the possibility of some sneaker waves where it could be relatively calm, and all of a sudden a big set wave comes in, and that could create some hazardous conditions instantly. Here's the forecast model showing you this. Still some patchy fog hanging out coastside. Partly sunny skies around the bay. Temperatures inland, we're thinking some 80s out toward Concord, Antioch, and Brentwood. San Francisco 68, Santa Rosa lower 80s. A few more neighborhoods for you with San Jose checking in 79 and Gilroy 84. Kind of cruising as we head toward the weekend. There's not much change with temperatures maybe up a few degrees by Friday. That'll translate to some mid-80s inland around the bay, upper 70s, and the coast mainly in the mid to upper 60s. So at least for this October, typically we're talking about a quiet weather pattern. That'll be the case, at least as we head toward the weekend.
Mark, thank you. Happening today, the arraignment this morning for an Alameda County Sheriff's deputy accused of secretly recording private conversations between suspects in custody and their lawyers. Sergeant James Russell is charged with 4 counts of eavesdropping, and his own body camera captured him admitted to secretly recording 4 juveniles in San Leandro at a sheriff's substation. Afterward, the criminal case against the 4 suspects was dropped, and all cases involving children between July and August are now being investigated. Meanwhile, the case against a man accused of killing a young woman at Oakland's MacArthur BART station is going to trial. The grand jury in Alameda County indicted John Lee Cowell for the stabbing death of Nia Wilson. The indictment means there will be no preliminary hearing. This case will go straight to trial. Prosecutors say Cowell killed the 18-year-old woman and critically injured her sister in an unprovoked attack. Cowell is also accused of lying in wait, which could make him eligible for the death penalty.
For me, it was really about efficiency, particularly for the family. They asked that we try to proceed as efficient as possible so that they could, essentially have their day in court.
The public defender, Representative Cowell, says his client is mentally ill and was released from a state hospital 75 days before the attack on Bart last July. They say this should not be a death penalty case.
For more on some of the other headlines we have been working on, let's go to Dave Clark.
Thank you. Here are some of the top stories we're following. A week after Hurricane Michael hit land, now we know at least 26 people have died from that storm. Vice President Mike Pence arrived in Georgia yesterday, touring some of the storm damage left by Hurricane Michael. He visited the pecan plantation to see the damage there. Experts say that even if new trees were planted today, it would take about 20 years for them to start producing a crop that was usable. The city of Berkeley is taking action to improve safety around San Pablo Park. Now, this area in South Berkeley has been hit with recent violence, including a shooting back in August where 3 people were wounded. Berkeley's mayor held a hearing last night on what the city can and should do to improve safety. Berkeley will now install surveillance cameras in the park as part of an anti-crime campaign. Other measures include increased police patrols and also encouraging more families to use that park. A child from Florida died from the flu virus, the first child death related to the flu this season. Florida's health department has not identified the victim or where they lived or their age, but that child was in good health until catching the flu. The death occurred about 2 weeks ago. Doctors are worried and concerned for several reasons, including the child died from influenza B. That's a less common strain every year. Well, Bay Area doctors are urging people get the flu shot, especially high-risk people like children, the elderly, people with chronic health problems. Babies 6 months or younger, they're too young to get a flu shot. But doctors say flu shots reduce your chance of getting the flu as well as how severe the flu is. The CDC reports more than 80,000 Americans died of the flu in the winter of 2017-2018. You can go to the web link section of KTVU.com to find out a flu vaccination clinic near you. And that's a look at some of the top stories we're working on.
All right, Dave, thank you. The family of a man who died after being tased by San Mateo County Sheriff deputies is speaking out, saying the man was mentally ill. As KTVU's Henry Lee reports, their attorney says there is no justification for the deadly confrontation in Millbrae earlier this month.
If what he was doing, as they claim, was walking in and out of traffic, that is not a death warrant.
Civil rights attorney John Burris joined the family of Chinedu Okobi in demanding transparency and answers. The Nigerian-born man died after being tased by San Mateo County Sheriff's deputies.
It does not appear to be a justification for the use of the tasers and the manner in which it was done.
We think that the least that we can have as a family is closure as to how he died.
They spoke after a memorial for Okobi in San Francisco, where they honored the Morehouse College graduate and father, who they say had a mental break on October 3rd. Authorities say that's when Okobi was seen running in and out of traffic on El Camino Real in Millbrae. Investigators say Okobi immediately attacked the deputy after he got out of his patrol car. The deputy called for backup, and Okobi was tased and taken into custody, but he lost consciousness and died at a hospital.
You have a 37-year-old man, apparently physically healthy, has contact with the police, they tase him, they did whatever they did, and he winds up dead.
The cause of Okobi's death hasn't been determined pending toxicology tests. But Burris says all law enforcement in San Mateo County should stop using tasers
until it has been determined that all officers have been properly trained, or that it can be used in any event in a way that is not street justice.
What was taken from us is irretrievable. We will never get him back. And so we are just begging for the opportunity to be able to not have him murdered again by not knowing what happened to our brother.
4 sheriff's deputies and a sergeant who were involved in the incident are still on paid administrative leave. A sheriff's spokeswoman and the district attorney tell me investigations are ongoing and that it's too early to draw any conclusions about the deputies' actions. The family and John Burris are also asking for all videos of the incident. Henry Lee, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
The Oakland Zoo has no plans to raise the railing in its tiger attraction, but the zoo is warning the public about following safety guidelines after cell phone video captured a man climbing over a protective barrier to get something on the outside of the tiger enclosure last Sunday. A tiger approached the fence when the man started to climb down. KTVU spoke to the woman who recorded this video.
na paano mag-success nila. Their kids are there. They don't know. They can do that. They can call me, off the tennis and think everything is fine. Nothing's going to happen to them because somebody else did.
The viewing deck railing is 42 inches high and is meant to keep people from the second barrier fence that's 5 feet away. There were 4 female tigers in the enclosure. The zoo says that if they had caught this person who climbed down the fence, he would have been kicked out of the zoo. You may remember the San Francisco Zoo made changes to its tiger grotto after a deadly attack on Christmas Day 2007. A Siberian tiger escaped from its cage, killing 1 zoo visitor and seriously wounding 2 brothers. The zoo raised the concrete wall around the enclosure to 19 feet, and it added plexiglass to the top of the wall, along with electrified wiring and surveillance cameras. Changes were also made to fortify the lion exhibit.
Now to the South Bay, we're happening now. 2 former San Jose track stars and U.S. Olympians are speaking about social activism in sports on campus. It was 50 years ago today, sprinters John Carlos and Tommy Smith raised their fists in a Black Power salute on the podium at the 1968 Olympic Games in Mexico City. They did it to draw attention to the plight of minority and economically disenfranchised people around the world. At today's town hall discussion, San Jose State is honoring their stance and the impact of athlete activism.
Sport was never really meant to tear us apart. And sport is one of those things that really has been a touchstone, particularly the athlete activism. But I think we can turn that conversation around. And the thing that caused us to separate a little bit because of athlete activism in sport, I think done properly, that can actually bring us back together again.
John Carlos and Tommy Smith paid a high price for their protest. They were stripped of their Olympic gold and bronze medals in the 100-meter dash. Today, Sonoma State University is opening an art exhibit on campus featuring photography, paintings, and video that explore the aftermath of last year's North Bay wildfires. The art was created by people in the community, including first responders who were affected by the fires last October. The exhibit is called Reflections After the Fire. The art is on display at the Sonoma State Library. There will be an opening reception today at 4 o'clock.
A report out this morning lists the Bay Area as having the roughest roads in the country. San Francisco and Oakland have the worst roads, while San Jose came in second. A nonprofit transportation group called TRIP released the survey. It factored in pavement conditions, transportation funding, travel trends, and economic development. The group rated 71% of roads in San Francisco and 64% in San Jose as poor. The group says poor conditions such as potholes and bumpy roads cause excessive wear and tear on our cars. San Francisco drivers on average pay more than $1,000 in car repairs. And I was talking to you earlier about this. I had a car that was kind of lower to the ground. And I think that made me get like an SUV because SUV rides higher. It's able to withstand potholes.
Jolts.
Right.
Make me cringe.
By the way, I got 4 new tires yesterday.
Oh, you did?
Follow up on our conversation.
Good, finally, good. You went for it.
Right, I went for it.
Okay.
Are you riding smooth now, Mike?
Very smooth ride to work this morning.
Safe.
Very smooth. All right, new this morning, Dunkin' Donuts opened its newest Bay Area store this morning on El Camino Real in San Carlos. People lined up even before the doors opened at 5 o'clock this morning. This location is being called the Next Generation Concept Store. The company says the store features a new design with a modern atmosphere. It will also include a tap system for cold drinks and self-service digital kiosks.
Coming up in a second on Mornings on To The Night, a young boy's dream comes true when he's pulled up on stage to play guitar with the Foo Fighters. Coming up, how the story gets even better.
And Disney on Ice is skating back into Oakland and San Jose, celebrating 100 years of magic. Up next, we will talk live with one of the performers who, guess what, is from right here in the Bay Area.
Requesting time off? Well, that's a pain.
Clocking in should be easy, right? Wrong. I think I'm getting carpal tunnel from stapling receipts to expense reports.
I wish I had 10 more passwords at work. My HR app is user unfriendly.
Furniture Galleries helps make your living room almost too comfortable. It's the biggest sale of the season. Right now, you can save 20% on everything in the store. Lazy Boy Furniture Galleries. Live life comfortably.
Life
Be covered when it does with a health plan through Covered California. We offer free expert help choosing the best plan for you, and all of our plans include free preventive care. Financial help is available, so check for yourself to see what savings you qualify for. For health insurance starting January 1st, enroll by December 15th. Because you never know when life will change. Get covered today.
Dialysis is life support. I'm considered on life support. Kidney failure affects many people. They're not going to be better off if Proposition 8 passes. Dialysis units will close. People will flood the emergency rooms. The people who wrote this proposition, I would like to look them right in the face and have them tell me how it's going to help me. If I don't do dialysis, I die. Don't put dialysis patients' lives at risk. Vote no on Prop 8.
If you've been injured in a car accident, you probably have some questions. Will I receive compensation? Do I need a lawyer? Call 1-800-800-0000. Injured? Call the Barnes firm now.
Whatever your car is doing, we'll check it out and fix it right. Check engine light on? We'll check it for free. AA MCO.
It is a dramatic night here on Fox with all new episodes of Empire and Star.
Reporter William Longinette takes a look at why things won't be calming down anytime soon.
I'm the father. If somebody's got to risk their life for this family, it's going to be me.
Lots going on Wednesday night on Fox, and most of it will shock, surprise, and bewilder fans of Empire and Star. Jude DeMorris plays a pregnant Star Davis and is ironically expecting in real life this November. Many questions will be answered.
We'll find out that Star, who we last saw on a solo tour and kind of sad about it, has come back, and she has big news. She's expecting, and we'll find out how that all unfolds.
Don't you think you've been working a little too hard lately?
Jude is a pro, continuing to sing, dance, and work long hours on the set.
I've been good. I felt good, and I'm still dancing and doing the choreo and keeping up. So hopefully I can do that for my next couple episodes.
The lions are broke. Those are rumors.
And on Empire, there's a glimmer of hope after the Lions lost everything, including their record company. Star Jussie Smollett, who plays the middle son of Lucius and Cookie, says his parents are taking it hard.
I feel responsible.
I think the person that takes it the hardest is Lucius. Believe it or not, come on, Cookie spent 17 years in jail. She can lose the furs, she can lose the jewels. She's had that for what, 4 seasons? Ain't gonna let us go without a fight.
In Hollywood, William Longinette, Fox News.
And you can catch all the drama tonight right here on KTVU Fox 2. It starts at 8 o'clock with Empire, followed by a new episode of Star. That's at 9. Then stay tuned for the 10 and 11 o'clock news.
Disney on Ice is celebrating 100 years of magic, which shows at Oakland's Oracle Arena and the SAP Center in San Jose. Catch moments from all of your favorites, including Frozen, Finding Nemo, Aladdin, and Beauty and the Beast. One of the performers is Bay Area's own David Fadia, who is playing Prince Naveen from Princess and the Frog, and David is kind enough to come over here to join us this morning. David, welcome. One of the things that got me, because I lived in Daly City for a bit, you lived in Daly City, you're local.
Yeah, I lived in Daly City, I went to school in Pacifica, I lived in San Lorenzo, and I live in San Leandro.
You went to a Royal High School, I know that high school well, so you're a local boy. Do people who know you from you growing up here come to your shows?
Yeah, and hopefully they will, and I invite everyone from the Bay Area to come just because it's such a wonderful show. It's called Disney on Ice Celebrates 100 Years of Magic, and we're here celebrating the legacy of Disney. So you have 14 different stories, over 50 different characters on the ice at the same time, and just so many different songs that you just get to sing along, so it's really special.
I have to say I'm impressed. You're a relatively young man already skating for a big show like this. When did you start skating?
Yeah, I started skating at the age of 12, which is a little late usually for ice skating.
Oh, really?
Yeah, some people start at 4 or 3, just when they start walking, they start skating. It's amazing. But I skated in San Francisco down at the Yerba Buena Ice Center, and I just fell in love with it. And after a little bit, I didn't realize I was going to the Olympics, but that wasn't necessarily my goal. And then I found out about the world of show skating, which gets to take you everywhere. And I've been to over 30 different countries with this show. So it's been pretty amazing.
We'll talk about, you mentioned the Olympics. That was going to be my next question. Talk about that, what it felt like. Was there anything unexpected about that experience as a young man?
Well, yeah, I think there's always the expectation that you have to be great at something like Olympic level, and that wasn't my reality. And I don't think when you go into a sport, that needs to be your reality either, right? You just need to do your best and see where it takes you. And this has taken me to an amazing place that has been Disney on Ice, and like I said, all over the world. And now I get to share it with my close friends and my family here in the Bay Area. So please come and watch the show. We'll be in Oakland starting Friday till Sunday, and we'll be in San Jose from Wednesday to Sunday of next week.
If you missed that, we'll put that up on the screen just a little bit. I wanted to ask you one more thing about skating. When you got into skating, did you ever feel that it was very competitive? Did you ever feel like, God, these people are pushing me too hard? Because we've heard stories like that.
Yeah, and you hear stories all the time. I think it comes from people pushing their dreams onto the kids and stuff like that. But skating actually gave me kind of like a safe haven. And for me, it was a special place, where I can go and just like tune out everything else that was going on in my life. And I was very lucky to have such wonderful people as I was growing up take me and just like help me through whatever I was going through. And skating just taught me so much persistence and dedication. And skating is so hard because it really knocks you down and like emotional level, mental level, but it builds you up because you get to do these amazing skills that not everyone gets to.
Right.
And it's a lot of training. It's really hard, but boy, is it worth it.
Well, congratulations to you, and I'm so happy that you're here skating in front of the hometown crowd, so to speak. We have put ticket information on ktvu.com. You can look for it under the web link section, under the Mornings on 2 tab. You can also find it on our mobile app. David, thank you.
Thank you so much.
We'll be right back with more of Mornings on 2, but after this.
Friends do. Wednesday, our friend Van Jones returns to the couch. We're talking hot topics that special way only Van can.
Today at 10 on KTVU Fox 2.
The cost of housing in California can be a backbreaker if you're like me living on a fixed income. So when I heard about Prop 10, I read up. Watch out. Prop 10 does the opposite of what it says. Prop 10 has no protections for renters, veterans, or seniors. Prop 10 will drive up rents, make housing less affordable and less available. That's the last thing we need. That's why seniors say no on 10. It makes a bad problem worse.
Why is Honda Accord in Northern California favored? Ask any Honda Accord driver.
The car is safe, reliable, fun, feisty, and most importantly, it has the technology of a beast.
I love the way it looks. I think it's just a luxury car, it's a practical car, kind of a mix of both.
7 of my friends are Honda Accord owners.
And right now, get special financing on the North American Car of the Year.
I love it.
See your Northern California Honda dealer now.
When you put your family's name on everything you make certain everything's just right. It's been that way for 4 generations with the Fellows family, and why our award-winning sit stand is transforming today's workspaces. The Fellows sit stand is smarter by design and features our patented smooth lift technology that adjusts up and down with ease. So if you want precision engineering that stands the test of time, we're the Fellows to talk to.
When Steve Poizner was insurance commissioner, he stood up to insurance companies and arrested those who commit the insurance fraud that drives up your rates. Now, rates are skyrocketing, and Steve's running to do what he did before. Cut insurance rates. Last time, Steve cut them by $2 billion. That's why every single major California newspaper endorsed him, calling Steve by far the most qualified and the best choice. Steve Poizner, the strong, independent voice we need.
Every Halloween, record trade, last man standing, goes all out. Pirate Princess.
Shouldn't your treasures be a little more buried?
On Fox Friday, Tim Allen is back. Boom, with their creepiest episode ever.
Of course, the creepy man is dark, it's evil, it's like voodoo, or jail.
On KTVU Fox 2.
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are in Australia today unveiling a new aircraft for the Royal Flying Doctor Service. But the event was upstaged when the Prince and Duchess were greeted earlier by a group of school children. One little boy in particular, 5-year-old with special needs, he stole the limelight. Luke Vincent hugged the Prince, then tugged his beard. Luke's teacher says he has an infatuation with beards and Santa Claus. He goes on to hug Meghan Markle here. They're so cute. Tomorrow the royal couple travels to Melbourne. Aw.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, you may not be aware, but this is National Pizza Month. A new ranking of the top 10 pizza cities in the U.S. puts San Francisco among the top 5. TripAdvisor says it ranked the cities based on the quality and quantity of reviews. New York came in at number 1, no surprise there, followed by Chicago and then Las Vegas. San Francisco came in at number 4, followed by Orlando, Florida.
All right, San Francisco's pop-up Candytopia Museum is extending its stay after 3 successful months of drawing sold-out crowds. Candytopia will stay open through the Christmas holiday season to January 6th. The Market Street Museum celebrates everything candy with interactive experiences, including the very popular Marshmallow Pit. Tickets go on sale at noon today for the extended time. You have to buy your tickets in advance, and they are expected to sell out quickly.
This story is really cool. A young boy's rock and roll dreams came true when he was pulled on stage to play guitar with the Foo Fighters. But that wasn't even the best part. Reporter Rebecca Gannon shows us the special gift he received.
It's been less than 24 hours since this 10-year-old became an internet sensation. And he's still playing that guitar.
It'd be awesome if I could take my guitar to school, but I think I would get in trouble.
What song do you know?
Oh, I know a lot of Metallica songs.
For those of you who haven't seen it, Dave Grohl let a 5th grader play guitar with the famed Foo Fighters on the Sprint Center stage.
I see Dave Grohl come over on the side of the stage, and I start doing this, and he's like, what? And I said, I can play the guitar, and he's like, oh, you can play the guitar. Sure, get this kid up here.
Collier Cash Rule quickly rose to the occasion and brought the house down and Grohl's hands up. But would you expect anything less from a kid named after Johnny Cash?
Metallica knows who I am. The Foo Fighters know who I am. Dave Grohl gave me a guitar. I played at Sprint Center. I think my bucket list is done.
As for Mom,
I mean, you can't top a moment like that as a parent. I mean, I think any parent, when they have a proud moment with a kid, knows what I'm talking about.
she's a bit overwhelmed right now.
It's a Gibson. Gibsons are really nice.
After all, one of her idols just gave her son the best experience of his life.
Foo Fighters cover Metallica's Enter Sandman with 7-year-old on the guitar. The only problem with that is I'm 10, not 7.
Super cool.
Very lucky.
Yeah.
Great that the band did it, though.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
He's good.
Let's talk Halloween. A man in Central Ohio loves to kind of scare people around Halloween, and one person actually took it a little bit too seriously. He set up an elaborate display of an ultralight plane on his side, 2 skeletons coming from the cockpit. This fake crash looks so real, apparently one passerby called 911. Well, next he plans to add a witch on a broom near the plane, so it looks like it ran right into her.
That's in poor taste. You want that next to you? You okay if your neighbor does that?
Maybe
Not
not.
fine.
Yeah.
Whatever. They have to serve for a couple weeks.
Children will see it.
It's Halloween.
It's tasteless. Thank you for joining us. Today on the 9, we'll be back at noon with more news of the day. Have a fabulous Wednesday. Enjoy the sun out there. Maybe tasteless in your Halloween displays.
Everybody supports Prop C to fight homelessness, right? Not when they see the cost. The biggest tax in SF history, $1.5 billion to help just 4,000 people. That's $375,000 a person with no plan and no accountability. Vote no on C.
Who is Jim Peterson? You know, I grew up as a contractor's son. We lived in an older home in Cambrian Park, and we did everything to fix it up. We painted it, we did roof repairs. Heck, we even poured concrete. I became a roofer at age 16, and I started Solar for America at age 20. We build the best roofs, solar power system, backup home batteries, and fences money can buy. We use only the best materials and labor. And now through the end of the year, we're offering to pay your electric bill while you wait to put panels on your home. Save money, reduce your electric bill, and get the best money can buy. I'm Jim Peterson. I'm with Solar for America, and I stand behind my work. Go to Solar for America today.
Your solar savings start the minute you call because Jim will pay your electric bill up to $1,000 while your solar is installed by the most experienced team in the business. Plus, take advantage of zero down, same as cash financing, so you don't have to make a payment until 2020. Just call 888-711-7674. That's 888-711-7674.
It's strange, but it don't express for me. And every single thing you do, it feels like.
Introducing the first ever Nissan Kicks with a starting MSRP of just $17,990. Plus, get $500 cash back.
Do you know how to protect yourself when an earthquake strikes? Hey, I'm Mario Lopez, and in California, earthquakes can strike anytime. So, practicing earthquake safety is a good idea for everyone. Join us along with millions of Californians to learn how to drop, cover, and hold on during the Great Shakeout. We're all in this together, so make sure your home, workplace, school, and community are planning to shake out.
Join us for the Great Shakeout. Learn more at shakeout.org. Shakeout Day is October 18th.
Everybody supports Prop C to fight homelessness, right? Not when they see the cost. The biggest tax in SF history, $1.5 billion to help just 4,000 people. That's $375,000 a person with no plan and no accountability. Vote no on C.
Our friend Romeo is back on radio.
I got a special announcement.
Maria.
Today at 11 on KTVU Fox 2.
Live from New York City, it's the William Williams Show.
Okay, let's get started. It's time for... Hi. So, did you watch TV last night prior to going to bed? All right, clap if you watched the BET Awards. Clap if you watched Lyrica and A1 and Club Hollywood. Clap if you watched The Connors. Clapped if you watched The Inside of Your Eyelids. You are my people. I didn't watch The Connors. I didn't want to know, but I saw, what all was going on. It premiered last night. This is the episode where they had to off Roseanne. They killed her off. Take a look.
They think that she must have taken the pills right before bed, and with her health issues, it was enough to stop her breathing.
It doesn't make any sense. I got her knees fixed. I flushed all her pills.
Oh my God. I found these pills in Mom's closet.
These aren't even prescribed to her. She got them from Marcy Bellinger.
Damn. That's the only thing from Mom's closet that I wanted.
Well, viewers were split. 50% of people said that they loved, how you know, Roseanne was off, but they're here for the show. And the other 50% said, no, it's not going to work without Roseanne. Like, ugh, me, I just want to know, why is Roseanne tweeting about this? I thought you were going to Israel. Isn't that what you told us? You're going to Israel for the whole season. You're not going to watch the show, and you're going to stay off Twitter about the show. Well, apparently she's not in Israel. And after the show, she tweeted, I ain't dead, bitches. She also said that ABC didn't have to morbidly kill her off in such a way for a family show. But I think that ABC did the right thing. Roseanne, you're the one who set yourself up to be a pill popper. You were there when, right? She hurt her back or her knee or whatever, and then you were the one, and your character on the show was doctor shopping, getting different doctors from various places. There were pills found all over the house. But last night was a whole cry fest. I mean, Jackie bawled. John Goodman bawled. They were all bawling. I didn't want to bawl. I don't care. But if you do, don't forget every Tuesday night, the Connors airs. Maybe we'll get more happy, you know, now that we're done with the elephant in the room, so to speak. Maybe I'll get more happy. So, can you believe that our country is reduced to a president having a Twitter war with a porn star? Honey, he called her a horse face. She wasn't a horse face on those nights, was she? Well, it started yesterday because the Twitter war, the president bragged about his legal victory over Stormy Daniels. He tweeted, wait, hold on. Oh, God. This is so stupid. I can't believe that this is what we're reduced to. You got a victory, man, and you're still barking up the wrong tree. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present... Oh, not this one. Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay. Great. Now I can go after Horseface and her third-rate lawyer in the great state of Texas. She knows nothing about me. A total con. Well, she knows enough about you to know that you're a tiny whiny. Within 1 hour, she clapped back, and here's what she said. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present your president. In addition to his shortcomings, he also has demonstrated his incompetence, hatred of women, and lack of self-control on Twitter again. Game on, Tiny. I mean, at this point, Stormy's got nothing to lose, you know what I mean? And by the way, she's going to pay, the judge ordered her to pay his legal fees. Exactly. That's a whole lot of twerking that you're going to have to do, Stormy. That's a lot. Ow. I can't believe he's so mature, though. I called him a horse face. I don't think that she was wrong in calling him tiny. You know, he's the one who should have a more dignified presence. You know? Well, on another note, Donald left Melania in the rain. We showed you this. We showed you this. Right? Just selfish. No, you don't understand. Watch what happens. And when they finally do get a piece of the umbrella, oh, you stopped it before, she gets the part that drips down. You know the umbrella, the drip down? But Meghan Markle was happy to hold the umbrella for Harry. Yeah, well, he was doing a press conference or something like that, and she's holding the umbrella for him. And she's holding the baby for him as well. So there's this makeup artist who says that Cardi B is the worst client ever. Okay, listen. Back in January, there's a makeup artist. Her name is Black Swan. I asked Morel, who does my makeup. He's all plugged in. He, has no idea who this woman is, but also predicted she'll never work again. And I said, well, maybe not with a celebrity, but, Texas is a big state. They love to get married. They love to wear a lot of makeup. You could be the makeup artist, like, for weddings and stuff. Anyway, she spoke about her bad experience working with Cardi. Take a look.
She looks at herself in the phone. She looks in the mirror. She speaks fresh to herself. She's like, yo, why is so white? And I'm like, it's setting powder. One of the ladies on her team walks in. Yo, take off your. This is what she says. Take off your glasses and look at this. Look at the shit on my face. It's ugly, yo. What do you want me to do? Do you want me to fix it? You want me to make it darker? You want me to make it lighter? You want me to fix it? Do you want me to go? Yeah, you can get out. Get out of here. Get out of here. What gives you the right to talk to me that way?
Well, remember, this was back in January, but Cardi just heard about this video because she clapped back this week. Take a look.
You come mad late. You come mad high as. In the middle of the process, I'm telling you, I don't like how my makeup is looking. I'm not finished yet. Whatever, you're the makeup artist, you acting like you know what you're doing. She was being rude, she was being this. Why? Why don't you say why? Why don't you say why? So you need to tell me that you was being an angel and I was just being disrespectful for no reason. It's unprofessional when you go online and talk about it. You know what that do? That make other people not want to hire you. And then people send me to apologize. Apologize for what? Because she wasn't doing her job right?
So, Black Swan responded showing text messages to prove she wasn't late. Her arrival time and so on and so forth. She's also strongly denying being on drugs. Here's what I say. I mean, there's nobody to believe one way or the other. Cardi B would be a good get if Black Swan just did her job correctly. Every time Cardi goes to Texas then to show her Texas makeup artists and stuff. Personally speaking, I travel with Morel all the time. In 10 years of this show, I might have had to use an outsourced makeup artist in another city maybe 5 times. In Chicago, Morel can't be there, but he always calls and vets the person out. Like, who are you? All right, this is what you do, and don't do it better than me, because I want my job. But, I don't know. This woman has 2 kids also. The thing is that you shouldn't have posted a video about this, because, you could add doing Cardi B to your resume. You don't have to say that it was a good experience or bad experience. Just add that to your resume. That would make people, who come to Texas want to use you, because Cardi B is big. She was great last night on the Hip Hop Awards. I didn't watch, but I did see the performance this morning. They played it for me. And I've got it, Nikki, who? I mean, she did a great job. And I like her costume. And her ponytail and stuff. Anyway, so she's got this song. It's a diss track from Nicki Minaj. And so her team is split over whether she should release it or not. That's what I say, release it. But half of her team is like, no, don't do it. You don't need to go down that road. And the other half of the team is like, no, hip hop. MCing, DJing, beefing. Hip hop. 40 years old, when big monumental things happen in your life, don't ask for gifts. Because we're assuming that you already have your blender or your toaster oven or whatever it is that you got going on in your life. I'm feeling like after 40, especially because the economy is bad, the times in which we live, after 40 years old, people don't need to be asking for stuff like a 22-year-old would. I'm not getting you a pillow set, a blanket set. Now, Kenya Moore's baby shower is in just a few days. Now, Kenya's 47, and you know that her mom doesn't care about her, and her father is there sometimes, and she's really been looking for real love, and she also very much wanted to have a baby. She deserves this. She deserves this. This as in happiness, not this as in a baby shower. 47 years old. Anyway, so she expects every guest to buy her a gift, even if they aren't coming, and she wants the RSVP. She's very, very serious about that. She's like, etiquette 101. If you cannot attend a monumental life-changing event in a friend's life, it's nice to send a gift anyway. I don't know. Excuse me, you're 47. I'm not sending you anything. Because at 47, you're supposed to have like a few things that you're not bothering your friends. And by the way, the registry wasn't real expensive. There were like, $12 bottles and things like that. There were only 73 things on the registry. People so far as of 20 minutes ago, there were only 12 items purchased so far. And, well, I'm going to give you a tip and a hint, right? If by chance you are pushed in a corner and you have to buy a gift for somebody for one of these monumental occasions, don't buy the actual gift. What you do, not a gift card either. What you do is you make a donation, like to the American Cancer Society or something like that. And listen, you don't hear? And you say, because, they give you the cards, they say, a donation was made in your name. They don't have to know it was only $20 or $10 or whatever you gave. I'm just saying. Good luck, Kenya. And the baby. And the husband. Allegedly. I played. So, speaking of babies, so Piers Morgan is being dragged and mocked for mocking men and how they carry their babies. Now, I find nothing wrong with the baby Bjorn. James Bond star Daniel Craig was spotted carrying his daughter in the baby Bjorn. And then Piers tweets, oh, 007, no, not you as well. Hashtag emasculated Bond. Well, dads all over came out showing their pictures in force, showing them carrying. Yeah! I find nothing wrong with that at all, with a man carrying the baby in the front like that. Even Captain America, Chris Evans, jumped in saying, you really have to be so uncertain of your own masculinity to consider yourself with how other men carry the child. I'll tell you what, though. I never had one of those baby things, that front strap, because I was always scared that the strap would break and then he'd fall down, But when I was working here in the city at Park and at 34th, and the parking garage was right across the street. And when Kev would come to work with me, because at that point, he's a goober, and so I'd bring him to work sometimes. We had 2 high chairs, one for the house and one for the car. And I put him in that high chair with the tray and the 4 wheels, throw those Cheerios on top, push him across the street in the high chair, Come on. Mommy's got to work. Come on, let's go. He's happy. He's got his toys, you know, and he's on the side, and the Cheerios at the top. And then when we get to the radio station, I just push him right in and park him right next to my chair and do the show. I felt like a stroller was too much, you know? A stroller was too much. They're all low. And then when you're on the radio, you sit in a higher chair. So then I have to be down here like this if he was in a stroller. Now he's like right here. We can make eye contact. You see, can I have a Cheerio? Perfect. Anyway, I find nothing gay about it, if that's what you're insinuating. So Lady Gaga is engaged to her agent, Christian Carino. And I always thought she was engaged anyway, or married or something like that. It's hard to keep up with her. But they've dated for a year and a half. Now, he's 49 and a divorcee. He was married for 18 years and he's got 2 children. And she's only 32, but she's got an older... I didn't say face. She's got an older soul. So, you know, to me, her being with somebody her own age almost doesn't even make sense. You know, she's got to be with an older man, a seasoned man who knows things, wisdom. But he's also her agent. So, is it good to be married to her agent when they finally get married? Well, only if he fires his other clients and makes me priority. You know, I'm priority number 1. I'm your agent. I'm Gaga. Let's get this money. You know, and you can travel. We can travel together and so on and so forth. No other clients, just me. That's it. So, he apparently was so in love with her even before we found out all this information that he got a tattoo of her on his arm, which doesn't look like her. Money back. Wait, here it comes. Who was that? Anyway, you know, at one point, Gaga was previously engaged to that hot actor, Taylor Kinney. He's 37. And they dated for 4 years before they became engaged on Valentine's Day in 2015. Then they broke up in 2016. And so now she's with this guy, Christian. So, the rings. Let's size them up. $400,000 for a pink sapphire ring with diamond halo all around. That's not a pink diamond. Diamond halo. It's very beautiful. I don't know. There's something about playing with the colors of stones and stuff that is reserved for other fingers. I'm a diamond girl. Clear, 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 clear. A sapphire is nice over here, maybe. Or over here. But not here. So Taylor, this is the ring that Christian got her. But here's the first ring that she got when she was engaged to Taylor. Yeah. And both rings were about $400,000. It's a 6-carat heart-shaped ring. And, you know, I don't like the shapes and stuff. I mean, that's fine for you, maybe. But I don't, you know, a heart-shaped ring, okay, get it for me for this hand. But not this hand. I'm more of a traditionalist, you know. I just like a splash of diamonds, and that's it. But oh, and remember when Jennifer Lopez got engaged to Ben Affleck? He went out and spent $2.5 million on a pink diamond. And when she got it, I was like, ew, a pink diamond. like, if you're married, then that's the most important finger on your hands for a lot of us. You're going to be stuck with a pink diamond for the rest of your life? No! A pink diamond belongs someplace else, but not... Anyway, good luck to everybody involved. And we've got more great shows on CNN's Van Jones on the Thursday, why are Hot Topics and I the perfect match? Because I love drama. We get to know Triple Threat, Nsijs. We loved him in the New Edition movie. Now he's in
to you by Macy's. Everyone's invited to save big during Macy's Customer Celebration event. Take an extra 25% off when you use your Macy's Fire Savings Pass and find your fall style, all the brands you love, and great home trends for every room. Now at Macy's.
So if we switch, he can stream all the games he wants without eating up our family's data? That's right. 4 lines for just $25 a month per line, each with unlimited gigs.
Go, touchdown!
Honey, ready for a switch?
Yeah, baby.
Ready to stream every play? Switch to Boost and get 4 lines for just $25 per month per line, each with unlimited gigs. Plus, get up to 4 free phones. All on Boost super reliable, super fast nationwide network. Boost makes it easy to switch. Switching makes it easy to save.
Quick! The quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker and is 2 times more absorbent than the leading ordinary brand. Bounty, the quicker picker-upper. On a budget? Try Bounty Essentials.
You can drink, eat well, and exercise, but to look completely healthy, you need healthy skin. Cetaphil is clinically shown to strengthen the skin's barrier and protect even the most sensitive skin against dryness, so you can look healthier. Complete your healthy routine with Cetaphil.
He's also the author of a book called Beyond the Messy Truth. He also is the host of the Van Jones Show on CNN. Please welcome back to our show, the handsome Van Jones. Give some Van Jones shoe cam before we get into everything.
So the shoe I got the socks. You got my socks? I got our purple socks. They ain't in there. Get your socks. Get my purple socks. All right, good now. It's my purple tied in. That's good. Perfect.
Dashing, smashing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
On being named one of New York's most important voices. Yeah, by Variety magazine.
And I just moved here. I'm like, I'm doing good my first year in New York.
That's a big deal.
Yes.
Really? You've only been here for 1 year?
Because I was in LA. Now I'm here. So, I deserve extra round of applause. First year.
Wow. Well, you're an important voice.
Thank you.
Your voice has been everywhere recently.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I got a TV show called Van Jones Show.
Exactly.
For me, it's fun because we've had the big names. We've had Oprah, we've had Jay-Z, we've had Kim Kardashian. At some point, we're gonna have you. She won't come. No matter what we do, she won't come. But we also get a chance to go out in the real world and talk to just ordinary people as well.
So you and Kim, I understand, have quite a close relationship.
Kim Kardashian.
Yeah.
Yes, that's my homegirl. That's my homegirl.
Tell us about your relationship. What you guys talk about?
Well, the thing is that I think people really underestimate her. She's somebody. Basically, we're working together on prison reform, criminal justice reform. We've gone to the White House a couple of times. She actually got somebody out of prison, and we're trying to get some more out. But people forget, her dad was a lawyer, and she thought that she was going to go on that track, went a different way. But when it's time to actually do real stuff, she does real stuff. She's like an incredible advocate, super smart. And she's the mom of 3 black kids. And people forget that. She's not a kid no more. She's about it. She's about it. That's my homegirl.
And she went without all the cameras and the pomp and circumstance.
Yeah, look, there's a right way and there's a wrong way.
Kanye had everything.
I think there's a right way and a wrong way to go to the White House to get something done. The way that Kim did it, massive preparation, singular focus, no cameras in the meeting. I think that's the right way to do it because you can actually get something done that way. I think if you go in without focus, without prep, with a lot of cameras, it doesn't work out as well. That's my view.
So while she was meeting with the president, where were you?
Over there?
In the kitchen?
No, I was in a meeting.
Oh, you were in a meeting?
Yeah. Okay, wait, what would I be doing in the kitchen? We not
getting something to eat.
No, I'm sure there are people in the kitchen, but I'm not good at that. I would have made some really nasty scrambled eggs and gotten thrown out. So I was in there arguing for. Listen, I have been passionate for 25 years about criminal justice reform. I went to Yale. There were rich white kids doing drugs. None of them went to prison. 3 blocks away, you have poor black kids doing fewer drugs, getting 15 years, 20 years. That's wrong. We got to treat everybody's kids the same, and that's really what it's all about.
So, what are your thoughts on the president fighting with the porn star?
Is this real? Like, it feels like a reality TV show. It's terrible. And again, those of us who are trying to raise young men, I have 2 sons.
Well, he's trying to.
Well, this is not what I want to see from my president. This is not what I want to see. I don't want to hear this. I don't want to see this. This is not right. Here it is.
Man,
I can see your mind working out. We're not going to talk about the tinies. We're going to move on from that. That's not the...
Well, I mean, he hit low, she hit lower.
Look, I think part of what we have to be careful of is that we're starting to get used to this. Like the idea, when you said on live national television with gazillion people watching, the president in a Twitter fight with a porn star, and nobody laughed or gasped, that means we're in trouble, because that should be, people should be marching down the streets by the millions saying that this is timeout. No, this is not what the president's supposed to be doing.
So, did you watch the Connors last night?
I didn't watch the Connors last night, but I'm glad that it's back.
Yeah, socializing then, being popular.
No, I was covering the news. I got a job.
Okay.
I'm a gainfully employed Negro. I'm proud. I'm proud.
But are you rooting for them?
I am. Look, here's the deal. I'm a Southerner, born and raised in Jackson, Tennessee. I understand when people say that the middle of the country isn't as well represented as it might be, on primetime television. I was happy when the show came on with Roseanne. Even though I'm a strong liberal Democrat, I don't believe in all that stuff, but I believe everybody deserves a voice. It was so sad to me that then, when Roseanne had the chance to be a good representative and to move the conversation forward, that she took the turn that she did. But just because she went wrong doesn't mean that the show needs to come off the air. I'm glad they stuck with it. I'm glad they stuck with it.
Fair band. Yeah. So you're still wearing a wedding band, even though word on the curb is that you are divorced.
I am divorcing. I'm divorcing. So until the paperwork comes through, I don't want to be doing all false advertising.
Then you were married for many years, right?
Yeah. I mean, look, Janet, my closest buddy, we've been buddies for almost 20 years. We got 2 kids together. And
how old are the kids?
10 and 14, 2 boys, both unemployed and ungrateful. However, I got hope.
How are they taking it?
They took it really well. I think that people have to stop tearing up families. Just because you stop being a couple doesn't mean you stop being family. We still family. That's still, listen. And the thing about Janet, she was with me when I was broke. I mean, we've been together through all the ups and through all the downs. We're still good friends. We're raising these kids. We're running these businesses. Just because the romantic part goes away, that's like you got 4 legs on a chair.
Are you still living in the house?
I'm back and forth. You think all of my business. I'm windy. What you thought was gonna happen?
I'm asking. We're having a civilized conversation about something very real.
Very, very real. But the point I was trying to make, though, is that if you have a good friendship, you're raising kids well, you're running business together, and the romance doesn't work, you can take one leg away and still have a good stool. Why do people then burn the whole thing down just because one part's not working? That's not right. That's not right.
So Van's got a book. How's it going?
Look, the book is called Beyond the Messy Truth. The paperback just came out. For me, it's an important book because it's really tough love for both political parties. I'm a strong Democrat, but our party is not perfect. The Republican Party is not perfect. And the problem now is you have to pretend like everything the Democrats have ever done is perfect. And there's not one good thing for the Republicans and vice versa. You don't get Donald Trump as president if you have 2 healthy parties. You have to have both parties way off track to wind up with this kind of outcome. And so the book is really trying to show a way where we can actually come together on a few things, like addiction, the stuff that you're working on, like criminal justice reform, like helping poor kids. That shouldn't be partisan. We should be able to fight where we're supposed to fight, but then come together to help these poor kids and low-income kids. Got to be able to do that. No matter who's in the White House.
Were you at the strip club last night? No, I'm very distracted. The whole time that you're talking, there is a piece of red glitter underneath that nostril.
Listen, I can honestly say I am such a nerd. I've never been to a strip club.
What?
I never have. Y'all can get over my grill if you want to. I don't know. I got hugs out there. Somebody was hugging me. They went to the strip club. And now I'm in trouble. You see, you can't do right. Listen, I'm a gainfully employed Negro. I'm covering the news. I can tell you where I was and where I wasn't.
You've become a real hotshot, though. Good for you. Do you think celebrities are too involved in politics?
No. I don't think that like, for instance, when Taylor Swift got involved, I'm from Tennessee, she spoke up. People said that Taylor Swift shouldn't be involved. I don't agree with that. I think everybody who has a platform, if you got 15 Facebook friends, or if you have 128 Instagram followers like Kim Kardashian, we're all supposed to participate. And I think it's actually good. Taylor Swift coming out and saying that Bredesen, who's running for governor in our state, is her choice, means a lot of people are going to figure out, well, who is Bredesen? That don't mean they're going to change who they vote for, but they're going to be more informed.
Yeah, she's enlightening people. So what's coming up on the Van Jones show?
Well, you know, we just had Dave Chappelle, which was an amazing guest.
Wow.
He was on talking about his good friend Ben Jealous, who's running for governor in Maryland. I've known Ben Jealous for 25 years, excited about that. Coming up for the show this weekend, we got Valerie Jarrett. She may have a few things to say about this Roseanne situation. We don't know. We got Valerie Jarrett, and we also have a bunch of young veterans who are running for Congress. We got folks who say, listen, I fought for human rights and democracy and fair play overseas, and I'm coming back to see this nonsense going on. I want to get involved, so we're going to put them on the show. Give them a share.
Van Jones, everybody. The book is called Beyond the Message Truth. It's in paperback now. And check out the Van Jones show Saturday nights at 7 on CNN. Ask Wendy is next.
When things get ugly, call the We Buy Ugly Houses people. We can give you an all-cash offer and can close quickly. Go to WeBuyUglyHouses.com or call 800-44-BUYER.
The fact is, there are over 9,600 roads named Park in the U.S. It's America's most popular street name. But all state agents know that's where the similarity stops. If you're on Park Street in Reno, Nevada, the high winds of the Washoe Zephyr could damage your sighting. That's very different than living on Park Avenue in Sheboygan, Wisconsin, where ice dams could cause water damage. But no matter what park you live on, one of 10,000 local Allstate agents knows yours. Now that you know the truth, are you in good hands?
If you have Medi-Cal, smile. Your dental benefits just improved, and Western Dental is ready to care for you. Call 1-800-6-DENTAL to schedule a visit. Improved Medi-Cal benefits now include deep cleanings, partial dentures, and more. For over 50 years, we have welcomed Medi-Cal Dental. With 190 California locations, a quality Western Dental dentist that accepts Medi-Cal is nearby. Call 1-800-6-DENTAL now. Western Dental. Love your smile.
The cost of housing in California can be a backbreaker if you're like me living on a fixed income. So when I heard about Prop 10, I read up. Watch out. Prop 10 does the opposite of what it says. Prop 10 has no protections for renters, veterans, or seniors. Prop 10 will drive up rents, make housing less affordable and less available. That's the last thing we need. That's why seniors say no on 10. It makes a bad problem worse.
Pass the pudding, please.
When things get ugly, call the We Buy Ugly Houses people. We can give you an all-cash offer and can close quickly. Go to WeBuyUglyHouses.com or call 800-44-BUYER.
Welcome back. It's time for Ask Wendy. Come on over. How you doing?
Hi, how you doing?
And happy birthday.
Thank you very much. I'm Lloyd, and I have a question about rejection.
Okay.
So last week I met a guy who I thought was quite attractive, and I asked him for his number, but he looked over at someone else, and he rolled his eyes at me, and he started talking to someone else. So I felt a little bit awkward. So I want to know, next time I'm in a situation where I might get rejected again, hopefully not, I want to find out, how do I exit smoothly?
Well, how long were you talking? talking to him before you pushed up on him?
Oh, not that long, but I just went up and spoke to him quickly because.
No, see, you gotta have somebody, you gotta gel and mesh, at least for a 20-minute conversation.
Okay.
A half hour.
Yeah.
One drink at the bar, just the two of you, before you do that. And don't worry, you're so cute, Lloyd.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Good luck.
Thank you.
Who's next?
Hi, Wendy. My name is Priscilla.
Hi. What is this?
It's my new collection.
Okay.
I'm working with some friends of mine. It's called Macola.
Okay. You can put that down now.
I've been with my boyfriend for 2 years.
Okay.
2 months ago, a work colleague told me to join her crash party, a wedding. We went there and my boyfriend.
Again? You and your boyfriend crashed a wedding.
I've been with my boyfriend for 2 years.
Okay.
2 months ago, my work colleague asked me to join her for wedding.
Your
crash
work
party.
colleague?
Yes.
Okay.
We went at the entrance. I saw my boyfriend getting married to his best friend, a female best friend. So he saw me, he got scared.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Okay, go on.
I ran off. I went out.
How did you not know that he wasn't so deeply in love that he's about to get married? 2 years you've been together. You were so busy sewing stuff. And this is a good thing. This is a good thing. If you're going to have a career, make it a good one. Nobody's going to take care of you but you. That's a good thing. Did you live together?
No, we didn't.
Okay.
We lived separately.
Had you ever been over to his house or apartment?
Yes, every weekend. That weekend, he called me and said he was going to a friend's wedding.
But he's the one up there getting married.
Yes. Now, he's been calling me every day since. Should I give him a chance to explain?
No! Block his number. Wish him the worst. And that's it. Good luck.
Thank you.
Oh, that's so sad. My God. Hi, come on over.
My name is Candace. How you doing?
Hi, Candace. I can't believe that. Hi, Candace.
Hi. So when I got divorced, I moved from California back to Maryland, and I have a 19-year-old daughter, and she's my only child, and I want to move back to California, and she said it's okay, but I don't want to leave her alone in Maryland. What should I do?
Well, she's 19. She's grown.
Not in my eyes.
Candace, get over it. She wants to stay in Maryland, so she'll figure out how to get a job and that first class in security and all that other kind of stuff and take care of herself. She's 19. Let her do it. Or then don't you go to California.
Okay.
See? All right, everybody. Look, thank you, Candace. More Ask Wendy is next. Number 4. When it comes to hot topics, there's juicy and then there's please. Busy Phillips, movies, a new tell-all, and her own late-night show. No wonder her name is Busy.
Friday on a new Wendy.
Sometimes the pressures of today's world can make it tough to take care of yourself. But Nature's Bounty has innovative ways to help you maintain balance and help keep you active and well rested. Because hey, tomorrow's coming up fast. Nature's Bounty, because you're better off healthy.
Thought a lot about what you said.
About not being treated like a little kid anymore. Staying up later.
Being more adventurous. I just have one thing to say about that.
It's about. Kids grow up, so do vacations. 6 resort hotels, right next to 3 action-packed theme parks. Plus, buy right now and get 2 days free in the parks at Universal Orlando Resort.
This is how your tears roll, little guy. Lucky you're rocking your Huggies, because, sorry, ladies, that's no smile. That's him doing his business.
Huggies Little Movers, our best fitting diaper that fits like a hug. Hug on.
Now, you know how much I love yogurt, but you know just how much sugar could be added to just 1 cup? All Nuance. Today at 1 on KTVU and Fox 2.
Dialysis is life support. I'm considered on life support. Kidney failure affects many people. They're not going to be better off if Proposition 8 passes. Dialysis units will close. People will flood the emergency rooms. The people who wrote this proposition, I would like to look them right in the face and have them tell me how it's going to help me. If I don't do dialysis, I die. Don't put dialysis patients' lives at risk. Vote no on Prop 8.
Over 40 years ago, Russ Brown set out on a mission to help injured riders. We fight for the rights of riders every day because we are riders and we know what you're going through. If you're injured in a motorcycle accident, don't fight the insurance companies with just any lawyer. Call 1-800-4-BIKERS.
These guys will have your back. If you go down, call Russ Brown. Motorcycle attorney.
Is it too early to start celebrating Halloween? Well, if you're celebrating by eating Reese's, then no. You're actually late. Not sorry, Reese's.
Get 4 lines of unlimited data for $100 a month. Plus 4 free smartphones when you switch. Oops, unlimited. Yeah. Smile, you're on Cricket.
It's all about rising from the ashes. I got work to do.
You don't even seem like you into it.
I don't know if I'm ready for everybody to see that side of me. I gotta stay on top. That's why I hustle so hard. I'm gonna hit him where it hurts.
Tonight at 9 on KTVU Fox 8.
I'm still very stunned on how you date somebody for 2 years.
Yeah, me too.
And then you show up to a wedding and there he is getting married.
No, that's crazy. Hi, Wendy. How you doing?
I'm not sure how you do it.
Oh, I'm great. I'm here next to you. I'm awesome.
Thank you.
What's your name? My name is Bertha.
Where you from?
I'm here from Brooklyn. I've been dating my boyfriend for 3 years. And we live together. He's 30, no, I'm 34, he's 31.
Okay.
And we're ready to have a baby. You know, I'm 34 years old. But his mom, she's very involved in our relationship. I love her. I do.
Yeah.
But she wants us to get married before having a baby. So what do? Should we listen to her? Or should we do whatever we want? Like, you know, it's hard. It's his mom.
You're grown, Bertha.
I know.
And he needs to tell his mother to stop being a Badinsky. However, what's up with the wedding? Like, why wouldn't you get married at this particular point?
Because we have a tight budget. So it's either we have a kid or we get married.
Oh.
You know, weddings in New York are expensive.
Oh, no. Children are expensive.
Yeah.
Children are expensive. Why don't you just go to justice of the peace? Stop it, you know. Seriously. Get married, have the baby, then have a party or something like that. At another time, way down the road when you can afford it, but don't prioritize your money on having this party called a wedding. The focus is the marriage.
Yeah.
Okay? Good luck, Bertha.
Thank you.
My name is Kat. How you doing?
Where are you from?
I'm from Texas.
Okay.
So I've been single for a couple of years now, and all my friends are getting married. They're having babies. I've been a bridesmaid like 3 times in the past year. I'm a godmama to these kids. So my friends want me to start dating, but I'm a night shift nurse, so I don't have the time. But I want to meet somebody the traditional way, but they want me to meet somebody and get online and try some online dating.
Well, how old are you?
I'm 27.
Okay, well.
So I don't know. I mean, do you think I should try the whole online scene?
I mean, why not do a bunch of everything?
You're right. That's true.
You know, there's nothing wrong with online dating,
Okay.
although the killer could be behind the keyboard.
That's true.
But however, the killer could also be in the grocery store. You just don't know he's the killer. So, if I were you, I would cast my rods in all kinds of waters.
Okay.
You're a beautiful girl, night shift nurse.
Yes.
You'll figure out how to make this work.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right.
Thank you, Indy.
Ooh, take a gander at this KFC Crispy Kernel Sandwich $5 fill-up. This KFC meal comes with wedges, cookie, and a drink. Everything in this collection costs $5. That would be at least $7 at a burger place. All this variety goes for just $5. KFC, it's finger looking good.
He likes bread and butter. He likes toast and jam. And that's why baby feeds him
KTVU Fox 10. At the dinner table, nobody talks about football. I like to teach them there's more important things in life. My name is Ted Ginn. I eat Stouffer's lasagna, and I'm hungry to coach athletes into men. Stouffer's, what are you hungry for?
If you've been injured in a car accident, you probably have a lot of questions. Who will pay my medical bills? What about my lost wages? Will I receive compensation? Do I need a lawyer?
Call the Barnes firm now to get the answers and the help you need.
Call 1-800-800-0000. Injured? Call the Barnes firm now.
Community dialysis clinics provide life-saving treatments for patients.
Community dialysis clinics? That's a lie. These are corporate profit centers making billions of dollars, charging some patients up to $150,000 per year, driving up insurance rates, while patients report blood stains and cockroaches. Prop 8 will bring change. Prop 8 holds big dialysis accountable for quality of care, because kidney patients deserve better. Yes on 8.
This is a payday bar. It has a truckload of peanuts and a caramel core that gets the job done. It's 10.5 centimeters of awesome, unless you get the king size, which is 14.7 centimeters of oh yeah. Payday. Get to it.
Go from Wendy Watson to co-host. See Wendy live. The tickets are free. Go to wendyshow.com and plan your look now. Here's how this is going to work, Danielle. First of all, how you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Good, thank you. You having a good time?
I'm having a great time.
Good. All right, let's see if we can win you something. I'm going to show you a picture from a movie, and you have to guess which movie it is. Please don't help her. Let's see the photo. Go. So easy.
So easy. Can I have a hint?
No. He's the father of chocolate Jack. White chocolate.
Forrest Gump.
Yeah. There you go. Can for two, an American whiskey. We'll be right back.
Critics everywhere are waving about the hate you give.
If I don't take a stand, who will? I need to speak for him.
The hate you give. Rated PG-13.
It has seriously never been a better time to try our Sprint network.
Because our new unlimited plan essentially gives you more. It has Hulu and all the TV and movies you love and mobile hotspot.
We need to shout this deal from the rooftops.
Yeah. Sprint's new unlimited plan, best deal ever.
And it's all on a network built for unlimited.
Switch to Sprint Unlimited for just $24 per month per line for 5 lines. Switch to Sprint Unlimited today.
Why are so many people switching their Medicare coverage to Kaiser Permanente Senior Advantage? Is it because there's zero annual deductible?
And zero copays for preventive care.
Or because you get quality care and affordable coverage?
That also includes prescription drug coverage.
Maybe it's because you can visit your doctor, get tests, and refill prescriptions.
Often in one convenient location.
Or because you get your choice of all available Kaiser Permanente doctors.
And all available doctors and even specialists welcome Kaiser Permanente Medicare Health Plan members.
Or is it because Kaiser Permanente's Medicare Health Plan is rated 5 out of 5 stars in California? 7 years in a row. That's Medicare's highest possible rating. Find out for yourself. Call now and get your free Kaiser Permanente Guide to Medicare.
Choosing the right Medicare health plan can be easy.
Call Kaiser Permanente.
There's zero annual deductible and zero copays for preventive care. You get quality care and affordable coverage with prescription drug coverage. You can visit your doctor, get tests, and refill prescriptions, often in one convenient location. You get your choice of all available Kaiser Permanente doctors.
And the peace of mind that comes from knowing your Medicare health plan has earned 5 out of 5 stars. Medicare's highest possible rating.
Call 1-877-258-8922 now to speak with one of our Kaiser Permanente
Permanente Medicare specialist and get your free Kaiser Permanente guide to Medicare. Your call is free. Your guide is free. Call 1-877-258-8922 now or visit us at kp.org/stars. That's 1-877-258-8922 and get your free Kaiser Permanente guide to Medicare. Call now.
Everything you want to know about The Wendy Show is now available at wendyshow.com. We've got the hot topics, celebrity interviews, my after show, and exclusive backstage videos. See it now. See it first. Only at wendyshow.com. We'll be right back.
Every day, Zulily brings you something special.
This is the exact store I was looking for.
Karen, are you telling people?
I want to know when those are pregnant.
It's a girl.
It's a girl.
Zulily, something special every day.
Wednesday, our friend Van Jones returns to the couch. We're talking hot topics that special way only Van can.
Today at 10 on KGBU Fox 2.
Dialysis is life support. I'm considered on life support. Kidney failure affects many people. They're not going to be better off if Proposition 8 passes. Dialysis units will close. People will flood the emergency rooms. The people who wrote this proposition, I would like to look them right in the face and have them tell me how it's going to help me. If I don't do dialysis, I die. Don't put dialysis patients' lives at risk. Vote no on Prop 8.
At Western Dental, you're going to love your smile. Braces are only $99 per month with no money down from the #1 orthodontics provider in California. Our certified orthodontists have many options, including gold and clear braces. Call now to take advantage of this great offer. We proudly accept Medi-Cal and most insurance. No insurance? No problem. Your first exam, x-rays, and consultation are free. Call 800-6-DENTAL now. Western Dental. Love your smile.
California's public schools rank 44th in the nation. 44th. I'm Marshall Tuck. I'm a public school parent, and I know we can do better. In the public schools I led, we got more funding into our classrooms, supported our teachers, and we raised graduation rates by 60%. That's why President Obama's education secretary endorses me. We've done it before. Now, let's do it for every public school student in California. I'm Marshall Tuck. I'm running for state superintendent.
Is that him?
Yeah, I think that's him.
My baby is home.
Let me go with you. I can handle myself.
We will get what's ours. If somebody's got to risk their life for this family, it's gonna be me.
Empire, tonight at 8 on KGBU Fox 2.
I want to thank Van Jones, who's always insightful, my co-host, my studio audience. Thank you so much for being here today. Tomorrow, the actor Algie Smith is on the couch. Plus, I got you with the hot topics. I love you for what? 2 years and he married on you? I love you for watching today, and I'll see you next time on Leggy. We gotta talk.
Nice! KGBU Fox 2 gives more power to you. The power to be close people together. To laugh.
That sounds like fun. The power to know. Sky Fox giving us these live pictures.
KGBU Fox 2. The power to starts with you.
In an emergency, seconds matter. That's why Prop 6 is so dangerous. There are more than 3,600 deaths on California roads every year, many caused by bad infrastructure. Prop 6 eliminates more than $5 billion a year in funds dedicated to fixing roads, bridges, and infrastructure. That delays emergency response times and puts Californians at risk. Getting to the scene quickly could mean the difference between life and death. Join public safety leaders. No on 6.
Injured and want to know why you should get burned? Just listen to these clients.
While my husband was in the hospital, and with my injuries being as severe as they were, Berg injury lawyers come and help us and take us through the process was a huge relief for me.
I would get Berg because they're just outstanding people to work with. They know their stuff.
At Berg Injury Lawyers, we help people like Jack and Carol every day. If you've been injured, give us a call.
We're getting no help from the state of California. Frankly, it's a disgrace.
I'm Gavin Newsom, and I have a message for Donald Trump. Californians, we're not backing down. I'll do whatever it takes to protect healthcare as a human right, to defend our coast and public lands against drilling and mining, and stop the attacks on public schools, and protect the California dream for all, regardless of race, gender, sexual orientation, or immigration status.
Gavin Newsom for governor. Courage for a change.
Watch KTVU Fox 2 News at 5.
Today on The Real, it's your time. Let's get into some girl chat. Plus, rapper, actor, and entrepreneur Romeo Miller is here. The Real starts now. Because a furious mom recently took to momsnet.com to ask for advice after her partner and father of her 9-week-old daughter got her ears pierced behind her back. Ooh. The mom claims she had a discussion with her man about it, where she told him that she didn't want their daughter's ears pierced until she was old enough to ask herself. But apparently, the dad thought she looked cute, so he went and did it anyway. Well, many moms agreed that she had a right to be upset, with some even calling what the dad did a form of child abuse. All right, I know. Throwing that term out there. Araya, I know, right? It's a bit of a stretch, but Araya did get her ears pierced when she was 2 months, which, oh my God, come on. But it was something that my mom passed, down. We got our ears pierced at an early age, and I chose an early age because she wouldn't remember it. Yeah. Really? But I had the conversation with Adam as well. I think if it involves anything medical, you definitely have to get both the parents' approval. Because there is some pain involved, unfortunately, and also if it isn't taken care of, she could get an ear infection. So, and I know as a mom, you want to be prepared for that. Of course. I also think if it's something the dad doesn't really know much about, so he just is like, oh, anything fashion related, go ahead and let mom decide. My dad was there when I got my ears pierced with my mom. They both held my hands, it was the whole thing. But I think he wouldn't have minded if my mom went and did it without him. Do you know what I mean? Because he's like, I don't really know about this stuff, like where I went to school, how they spend their money on my extracurricular activities. He wouldn't minded. But I don't know, dads are always so involved when it comes to girls' fashion choices. Some really are, though. Yeah. Some are very involved, and they want to be a part of all that kind of stuff. What age were you when you got your ears pierced? I think I was about 6. Okay. Yeah, which is a normal age, right? Yeah. But it's such an exciting experience when it happens.
I don't remember. I'm so old.
Really? You don't remember when you got yours?
I don't remember. And you know what? If she mad, she needs to let those let it close up, and then that way,
That is true. Yeah, but she's already gone through the pain at this point.
Yeah, but she can let it close up. I think his mama probably was like, get my grandbaby ears pierced. That's probably why, because usually men don't really like, whatever, unless they're saying that maybe she looked like a little boy, and sometimes that's why people do it, because just to distinguish that, oh, this is a little girl.
It is true, though.
Yeah.
It is. Some babies, you can't really tell. But I feel like it's that important to know whether or not my baby's a girl or not. I know she's a girl. Like, I would know what my child is. So I personally wouldn't care about that.
Yeah.
In my case, I like the idea of earrings just because I like earrings and they're pretty. So I would want to give my daughter earrings as soon as the
the doctor gave you permission that she's gotten her shots or whatever she needs to get her ears pierced. Some actual pediatricians actually do it for you.
Yep, that's
Did
what
yours?
happens around. Yeah, I wanted to make sure that a pediatrician did it.
Yeah.
You want to make sure everything is sterile. And also, you guys, there's certain metals that you can put in the child's ear. You never know. They might have an allergic reaction.
Wait,
So pediatrician.
Yes. Like at the doctor's office? Yes. There are dangers.
Yes. So they give us good expensive certain
You okay?
Yeah, don't go to the main mall.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about.
Claire's Accessories at Rockfield Mall. No, there are certain metals, so they use the medical grade. Yeah, the medical grade metal on not really newborns, but 2-month-olds, because you don't want anything crazy happening.
You definitely don't want them to get an infection. My sister actually feels really strongly about this. I have a niece named Jet and Bo. I have nieces, two of them. They are 4 and 6, and they do not have their ears pierced. And a lot of people have asked me, oh, why don't they have their ears pierced? My sister felt really strongly along with her husband. They discussed this, and she felt like my niece should be old enough to be able to tell her, this is what I want for my own body.
Right.
This is what I want. You can start poking holes in me when I tell you that's what I would like.
No, I just remember, you guys.
Yeah.
I done went back into the archives.
Okay.
I remember. Yes, I remember getting my ears pierced.
Do you?
My mama did it.
She did?
Hold on. Mama Love did it.
Wait a
Mama
minute.
Love.
Your mom is so gangsta. You don't recommend this, people.
I don't recommend. I'm just trying to tell you. It's what they used to do back in the projects back in the day.
Yeah, okay.
You would numb it with ice so you know I ain't lying. Then when it heat the little sewing needle, heat it up. That was sterilize it. That was their doctor's thing. She put a little alcohol and just stick it right in there and numb it up. Yeah,
Yes.
I remember that now.
And how was that experience? Be so traumatized in your mind. Now you have to think about it.
Yeah, it was just back in the day.
Wait, how old were you, Lonnie?
I was a good 7.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
because everybody was, but my ear was big. That was the problem. My earlobe was big.
Your door knockers are hanging just right today.
Yeah.
Come on.
She did a great job.
Thank you. But I don't recommend doing that. But back in the day, that's what we used to do. I was like, y'all.
A lot of people are like, yes, been there, done that.
Well, obviously, communication is huge in a relationship, but sometimes people can get a little lazy after being with someone for so long. In fact, that Noir recently put out their list of long-term relationship laziness we all experience. For example, you stop caring about your appearance and decide it's okay to look like a tree monster around them. You stop listening closely to your partner and decide it's okay to keep one ear on them and one ear on the TV. And when it comes to driving them to the airport, not no more, you better call yourself an Uber. Stop. What? Ladies, have you ever been guilty of getting a little lazy in your love life?
At what point do you think this normally happens?
Well, somebody here been married for a long time.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to
She
you
got a
for
look
this.
on her face. I want to hear it.
Well, okay. I'm gonna blame it strictly on having kids. So I think I'm a little different. We did have kids earlier in our marriage, but I felt like I was in my sweats a lot. I really didn't care about fashion, but I thank God, I even talked about this, I thank God for you guys, because when I saw myself get dressed up here, I was like, hope, there's still hope. Because sometimes you literally look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, who is that? I know I'm better than this. There were times that, I wouldn't shave. I would forget to shave. And then also I would just let my gray hair
Did he
kind
say
of go.
anything to
He
you?
never said anything. He never said anything. But also, I don't ever do things just to make him happy. I want to make sure I make myself happy.
Men always say they find women the sexiest when that woman feels the sexiest. Because a guy can think you're sexy, but if you're there insecure, you're uncomfortable, that moment is never going to feel sexy. Men feel women are sexiest when we are confident and sexy.
I also think there's a difference between being comfortable or being cozy with your man and being lazy. Right? When you're lazy, you just don't even care anymore. And it might be other reasons, like you're prioritizing other things.
I was just tired.
Yeah, tired.
So I have a question, right? I'm in a new relationship right now.
Yeah.
Relationship? Wait. Yo, hold on. We are getting status updates by the episode. Seriously,
That's not
guys.
okay up in here.
What do you mean?
You said it was dating.
It's steps. Okay?
But now it's a relationship.
Well, I didn't hear it, but he told me it was, so I'm gonna go with it, right? when should I take off my wig?
That's okay.
Because, just to let you know, you're a really nice guy. He was like, you gonna take your wig off? I said, hell no, I ain't taking my wig off.
So he's aware it's a wig and
Everybody knows it's a wig.
Some people don't.
Okay, so my thing is, when should I take my wig off?
I think, this is just my opinion. I've seen you without your wig on.
Yes, same.
Lonnie's not bald. She got mad hair under there. So
She does.
It's not like you're gonna expose something crazy looking. When Lonnie takes her wig off, she has mad, beautiful hair under there.
Even if you were bald, Lonnie,
But it's like, I got the prison braids right now. But
I have a question.
you know what I'm saying?
Can you do cornrows straight back instead of prison braids like you call them?
No, I look like from an episode of No Orange is the New Black. Like,
You're stupid. Lucky for you, cornrows are really in style right now.
Why do I have
baby hairs out and call it a day?
Yes, she has glowy skin.
Yes, she has amazing skin. Cornrows are a hot thing right now. We wear them on the show. All you gotta do is make sure your baby hairs are laid, get extra cute, and you're gonna
If he really likes you, he wants to see you just as you are.
Yeah,
you are beautiful. I swear. Girl, yes.
Some guys actually find it super sexy that they get to see a side of you that no one else gets.
I don't want to have to have a new. I just asked y'all a simple question.
What?
When should I take the wig off?
I think you should take it off as soon as you guys are intimately start together. making out and stuff, and it flies off.
Because it's more exhausting
to be something you're not.
Okay, I have a good idea. Okay, well, I have questions.
Okay.
Have you been intimate yet? Sorry.
Why do you think I said he asked when you take your wig off?
Okay. So why not? Because I have to be honest. Sometimes I wear a wig as well, just for protective styling, because we do so many shows.
Yeah.
Bleaching
And
my
that's
hair,
fine.
and I'm trying to hold on to my hair under this hat. Okay.
Yeah.
As this hat. Okay. But I will say, no matter how beautiful your hair is underneath, the visual of watching this
Yes.
is a little whoa.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not that like, the hair underneath. It's just the visual. I did it in front of my stylist daughter Olivia, and she goes, "How your head came off?" Okay? She asked me if my head didn't come off. Even for a child, it's like, what just happened? See, but I don't think it matters. I think at the end of the day, all the man cares is that your Hello Kitty look pretty. You know? That is true. But if you want to not make it so intense, maybe wear your hair pulled back without the wig on one time when you go see
take it off in the bathroom and then come back and be like,
it's the visual of like,
I just don't whip it. Like, come on, here you go, man.
Or show up at his house when the next time you guys hang out
with it
without
off,
a wig on.
and your hair done however you want, or however you want to rock your bald head, whatever it may be, come as you are.
I'll keep you guys posted of what happens. Okay.
I want to know. Well, one way to get out of a relationship rut is not to take your wig off. No, just kidding. To put a ring on it. But sometimes posting isn't as simple as a man getting down on one knee.
Oh no.
In fact, the Daily Mail recently rounded up some of the most preposterous proposal stories that are anything but a fairy tale. For example, there was the man who thought he could get away with buying his fiancée a new set of boobs instead of an engagement ring because they cost the same.
Wow.
Or, by the way, she didn't ask for them. Right. Or what about this? A dude who actually proposed to his girl naked because he thought it would be a funny story to tell him the future. Cute. Anyway, so ladies, do you think proposals should be one and done, or can you redo before you say I do? Is that something you could do again? Yeah. Really? No.
So if they do it badly, you wouldn't mind them doing it again? No, I think if they did it in one private way and then one public way, I actually think that's really healthy. I personally feel that people should have a private conversation about marriage before they do a public conversation about marriage.
Yes.
Like whether you're at home cuddling, whatever your lifestyle is, if you're in bed making love and the person turns to you and says, "I want you to be my wife." He's naked in that moment. That is a naked proposal. He doesn't have a ring there yet, but I think it works towards the ultimate goal of getting a ring. I don't recommend somebody buying somebody a ring unless they've already had a pre-proposal conversation.
Yeah. And then also, I think if you do have that conversation, then you can say, well, I would like a certain type of proposal. I mean, put some thought in, try to encourage it. You don't have to tell them how to do it, but maybe encourage it, and maybe that'll prevent this craziness that we're talking about right now.
Yeah, the boobs, I'm sorry. She didn't ask for that, and then you go and offer me plastic surgery? Yeah. Like, that would be so offensive. That's super offensive.
I also think
strong in front of a big group is so scary. You put the pressure on the person. There was this one time, I remember, Lava, she's talked about this before actually, and it brought me back to remembering it because I was there in Times Square when she got proposed to years ago. Oh my gosh, I remember years about this. And I just remember the flash in her eyes because it was in front of the entire world. And this man is so excited, but he put the pressure on live television in front of this entire group. And I was just like, afterwards, like, you want me to get you some shots, girl? And she was like, yes. Because it's just the wrong type of moment to make about everybody else instead of being about her. Right. You know what I mean? That's why a conversation in private to me is super important. That doesn't mean mess it up the first time, then do it over. For you. I think there are some women that like that element of surprise. And that surprise to them is like very romantic. And I feel like if you truly know your woman, you guys, talked about romance or watching movies, you really gotta listen to what she has to say. And if he truly knows you, then he won't do something like that. Right. Do you see what I'm saying? Like a pose naked. So you don't like that, huh? So you don't like that, the idea of a man proposing naked? No, because that's inside. Like I want it. But actually, Adam didn't do it that way. He didn't. He did it in a way that was comfortable for him. And I was like, you know what? I'd rather my husband be fully himself when he does it, when he's comfortable. And again, I was actually really surprised. I love that. I had no idea. Wow. We gotta take a break, but there's so much more girl chat on the way right after this. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the Let me keep it real with you. Girl chat never cheap. If my husband has a mistress, I'm gone. The blame always rains. And when they show up, you never know what's gonna go down. On the real. Talk about girl power. Real. Burlington isn't Coke Factor anymore.
It's still so coast.
Yes, dear. We get our foods here. All kinds of Coke. Stars. Look how cute. We take the bundle. All the brands at a fraction of the cost. I came to Burlington to buy a Coke. I got socks, boots, scarves.
How do you become America's best-selling brand?
Did you remember that?
I got it.
I'll turn on the lights.
Alexa, turn on store lights.
Let me do that.
Oh, I got it.
Well, I guess you don't need me.
By opening the doors to a brighter tomorrow.
I'll always be here.
Never had it. That's Ford, and that's how you become America's best-selling brand.
Ever since Daryl's family started using Gain Flings, their laundry smells more amazing than ever.
Honey, isn't that the dog's towel?
Hey, me towel, sweet towel. More Gain scent plus Oxy Boost and Febreze makes Gain Flings our best gain ever. Gain, seriously good scent.
Ways to lose stubborn belly fat. The roasted core wrap. 2, 1. Not cool. Freezing away fat cells with Cool Sculpting. Now that's cool. Cool Sculpting safely freezes and removes fat cells with little or no downtime and no surgery. Results and patient experience may vary. Some common side effects include temporary numbness, discomfort, and swelling. Ask your doctor if Cool Sculpting is right for you. And visit CoolSculpting.com today for your chance to win a free treatment.
More girl chat. I think we can all agree that the gym is a great place to work out. But is it also a great place to get work done? According to the New York Daily News, the latest business trend is called Where instead of having business meetings in conference rooms or restaurants, you have them on the treadmill. Huh? Yes, some people love the idea of talking shop in a workout class so that they don't have to sacrifice gym time each day because of their job. However, other people think grunting and sweating next to their boss isn't the best or most productive way. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree. I don't want to be sweating. No. I want to concentrate on my fitness, and then I use fitness as a time to like listen to music or I'm
maybe I'm just gonna keep it honest. Yeah. I'm actually considering getting a treadmill for my dressing room.
Oh, yeah.
So literally, I could just walk on it or do like an uphill walk kind of situation while I'm getting briefed or while we're having like simple conversation.
Okay.
And then I can get my workout. Because guys, we don't have enough hours in the day to go to the gym, work here, and all the other things that people have to do in their lives. I think this actually is like killing a bird with one stone. Right there. Okay. The only thing is, technically, like you said, Kat, you are supposed to be working out to a point where you shouldn't be able to easily talk. Yeah. That's when you're exerting energy, doing your heart rate is up. That's what I say. But I do think hiking, like in LA, we're all about urban hikes here.
Right.
That's an amazing place to get like a talk done. I don't know if it's work, because sometimes I need to take notes when I do a class meeting. But if you hike, you guys can talk and walk at the same time. On the treadmill, though, you want to be at like a 5 and above and an incline. You know what I mean? Or at least a 4.5. I'm not doing 5 and above. Just little legs can't go 5 and above. No, I do like 3.5 max. My legs are too small. Oh no, man, I'm going for the goal. I want to be. I'm not saying running. I'm talking. I would be just on a hill, like a little heart rate up. Okay. Yes, I get that. What is the topic for today? Okay, I understand that topic. Okay. This is how I feel about that topic. I think that you can get a little something, and that's better than nothing.
You can do that without putting a big ass treadmill on your leg.
No, I'm telling you, I think it would be really helpful.
No.
Okay, well, if you work up an appetite at the gym or on the treadmill like Adrian, you may end up grabbing a snack at a drive-thru on the way home. Mm-hmm. Yo, did you know that there's actually drive-thru etiquette one must follow? I'm hella excited about this here. The website Tastemade lists the 10 drive-thru rules you must follow. That includes using the preview menu so you're ready to order when it's your turn. Yes. My God. Speaking clearly to the employee taking your order and not tailgating the car in front of you. So ladies, when you are in line for a burger, are you following the etiquette?
Is it good?
You think so?
Good?
Because there's some people over there that are like holding up the line. Okay, I think that it is super important that you check out the preview menu. Don't get to the front and not still know what you're gonna order, people. True. Like, there's someone behind you. I hate being that person behind and you're like starving and you want to get there. Yeah. I also, they didn't list this, but picky eaters. Oh man, you guys, just say the number and keep it pushing. Like, if you don't want tomatoes, your little hands work. You can remove the tomato. Like, I don't get why you have to be so picky. That holds up everything.
Because I want it right. And maybe I don't want
tomato. Dirty your fingers.
Yeah.
That's good for.
No, I don't follow it. I do what I want to do. Because this is the thing. I'm paying my money. And if I get to that window and I decide to add something on, I don't want to hear no attitude, all right? I just don't want to hear it. I'm going to pay for it, and that's it.
I'm going to take it further, too. I think the etiquettes don't just belong to the people that are in line. I think they also have to be
to the employee.
Yes. Because when I drive away with my burger, I want to make sure you put my buttermilk ranch and some extra ketchup inside the bag. I hate when you drive away and they forgot, like, salt and napkin. Make sure the volume is at the right level when you say, can I take your order? Have you ever, like my kids, they can be asleep and then you hear that loud voice and you're like, oh my gosh, and then they start to modulate and you can't really understand what they're saying. Yes. So yes, just make sure it's the other side as well. You guys are making me hungry. We gotta take a break. But there's more go shout out.
Well, you know how much I love yogurt, but did you know just how much sugar could be added to just one cup?
All nuance. Today at 1 on KTVU Fox 2.
People kept telling me to call a lawyer after my accident, but I didn't really understand why I needed one. So I just kept putting it off and putting it off. By the time I finally called, there wasn't much of a case left. All the evidence was gone, no witnesses, no photos. I found out later I should have gotten like $200,000 for that accident. Now I have medical bills I'll never be able to pay. I should have called Berg Injury Lawyers. At IKEA, we believe that everything you need should be within reach. That anything that matches your taste can match your budget. That green living doesn't have to cost much green. We believe that you should always have room for the little things. And that your dream kitchen should work as hard as you do. IKEA family members get 10% off their purchase at the IKEA Kitchen event. And new financing options available with the IKEA Project Credit Card.
If you have Medi-Cal, smile. Your dental benefits just improved, and Western Dental is ready to care for you. Call 1-800-6-DENTAL to schedule a visit. Improved Medi-Cal benefits now include deep cleanings, partial dentures, and more. For over 50 years, we've welcomed Medi-Cal Dental. With 190 California locations, a quality Western Dental dentist that accepts Medi-Cal is nearby. Call 1-800-6-DENTAL now. Western Dental. Love your smile.
The taste for chocolate milkshakes is not something you outgrow. So, having lived Atkins for years, and also as someone who's an expert on shakes, trust me on this. These are awesome. Loads of protein, lower in net carbs, and no added sugar. Just awesome.
Hey, folks. Back to your usual. Do you need to run off?
You have plenty of time. Here's to making your morning routine a little better.
Now get any size iced coffee for just $2. It's breakfast at McDonald's.
This is your dog. He needs a walk while you're at work today. That's where WAG comes in. WAG lets you book a dog walker whenever you need. This is Anna.
Hi.
She's great with dogs.
I've got a senior dog myself.
Plus, she's been vetted by WAG and knows her stuff.
I always double check the harness before exiting the house.
Anna knows how to give your dog a great walk, and she fills you in on all the details. That's why you use WAG. Because of great walkers like Anna. Get your first walk free when you download the app now.
It's all about rising from the ashes. I got work to do.
You don't seem like you're into it.
I don't know if I'm ready for everybody to see that side of me.
I gotta stay on top. That's why I hustle so hard. I'm gonna hit him where it hurts.
Tonight at 9 on KTV and Fox News.
We're going to play a little game.
Okay.
A user on Reddit recently asked a question. If you had the opportunity to either increase your IQ by 30 points, that's a lot, have Olympics level strength and health, or be twice as lucky, what would you choose?
Yeah, I'll start with you. What? Okay. Good question. I know. Which one are you picking?
The
IQ.
Okay.
I definitely want to be smarter. Because I think to work in the medical field, like doctors, brain surgeons, you definitely have to have a higher IQ. And maybe I could come up with a cure for terminal diseases or something. You know? Put the brains to use. Yeah. Okay. I go with you, Tam. I'm gonna have.
Wait.
What?
You don't work in the medical field. So
I know. I should say. Yes, I did. She would. Yeah, we'll put it to use. You still have to go to school and do all the work. Absolutely.
So you would get smart and leave our show?
What are you No. I would be so smart, I could do both at the same time. Okay. How about that?
I'm sorry, Jeannie.
No, I agree with you. Being smart is sexy to me. I love a person just turns so much more attractive to me when they're smarter. And I think that if you have a great IQ, you can get all those things done. You can find an efficient way to be the most healthiest, strongest person out there. You can find a way. You wouldn't have to deal with luck. You can probably figure out how to play your best odds. Go to the Vegas freaking casino. Gamble your way through to the winning pot and like be the billionaire that you want to be.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, you can. Money.
I pick luck. I would pick luck.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
I can get lucky with the money, and I can get smart and buy the strength. So that's how I see it.
You guys.
Good luck.
I would pick the Olympian strength and the health because you can, guys, I know this sounds crazy. Steve Jobs would be considered a genius. I'm not gonna make this so depressing. Steve Jobs was a genius. Steve Jobs was also a millionaire. Yes. You can't buy health. Like, he had cancer, he could not buy his health.
Yeah, but they didn't say it would be health.
It did say health. It did. Strength and health. It says it on my card.
Olympic size strength and health.
Health.
Well, I don't want to go that way.
And if I have Olympic strength and my body's banging, that'll help me too in life, just in general. But no, seriously, I would really just want health. Like that for me, I have Hashimoto's, you guys know that. Yeah. That's an autoimmune. And also since like my thyroid things, like somebody give me the health. I want the health. Health is big.
Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed.
Maybe I like luck I like to go to Vegas.
And you like to get lucky, honey.
Get lucky all night. I love it.
I don't even know what the IQ test tests you in. What does it
It's
do?
hard because I tried it. That's why I said I don't
Good
do
to
it.
know.
It's hard. It's hard. But I'll give it to y'all and y'all can try it. And
I would love to try it. I
Okay.
want to know.
I'll give it to you.
You too? Yeah.
All right. When we've got a plan, so we have to take a break on that note. There's more review coming up right after this. So go anywhere.
Cheers, go cheers. FaceTime leads to other things. What you doing during your FaceTime?
KGBU Fox 2 gives more power to you. Power to feel. Pulls people together. To laugh.
That sounds like fun. The power to know. Sky Fox giving us these live pictures.
KGBU Fox 2. The power to starts with you.
The commercial airline industry is booming. The FAA alone handled over 16 million flights last year. With this level of demand, the industry needs more aircraft technicians. The average salary of an aircraft technician is over $72,000 in Oakland. We are the Aviation Institute of Maintenance, and we train tomorrow's technicians. Visit traintomorrow.com or call 888-FIX-JETS. That's traintomorrow.com or 888-FIX-JETS.
The cost of housing in California can be a backbreaker if you're like me living on a fixed income. So when I heard about Prop 10, I read up. Watch out. Prop 10 does the opposite of what it says. Prop 10 has no protections for renters, veterans, or seniors. Prop 10 will drive up rents, make housing less affordable and less available. That's the last thing we need. That's why seniors say no on 10. It makes a bad problem worse.
Boo!
I'm sorry for what I did to your face.
All good. Have a break. Breaks are good. Have one.
Life can change in an instant. Be covered when it does with a health plan through Covered California. We offer free expert help choosing the best plan for you, and all of our plans include free preventive care. Financial help is available, so check for yourself to see what savings you qualify for. For health insurance starting January 1st, enroll by December 15th. Because you never know when life will change. Get covered today.
Those of us living Atkins for years have a little secret weapon.
Chocolate almond caramel.
Chocolate chip granola.
Crispy lemon.
I keep an Atkins chocolate peanut butter bar with me at all times. Quality protein, no added sugar, and lower in net carbs. So you don't have to worry about the hidden sugars that are in most other bars. You see, those hidden sugars can ruin some of the healthy stuff protein does. Hey, choose your bar wisely.
If you've been injured in an accident, choosing the right law firm is critical. Choose a law firm with the experience and success to help get you the best result possible.
Injured? Call the Barnes firm now. Call 1-800-800-0000. The attorneys at the Barnes firm are ready to help 24/7.
Alcohol abuse got you down. Get sober at Mountain Vista Farm. Mountain Vista Farm is the place where you need to be.
Last Man Standing is back and bigger than ever. All new Fridays on Fox.
The real fam is calling our hotline, Blade.
Call her. Hey, girl, what's your name?
Hi.
What's your name and where you from?
I'm Melanie and I'm from Houston, Texas.
How you feeling, Houston, Texas?
What do you do out there? What do you do out there?
I'm currently a college student and I'm about to graduate in December.
What are you getting your degree in?
So in public health and I'm applying to medical school, so I'm waiting to see what happens.
You got a good IQ, girl. Now, in between your studies, have you been keeping up with season 5?
Always. I'm telling you, I don't miss it.
Appreciate you watching us.
Okay, Melanie, we're going to give you the chance to turn our OOTDs into some cold, hard cash with our game, Whose Shoes, okay? We'll show you a picture of a pair of shoes we've worn in season 5, and you'll guess whose they are. For each guess correctly, you'll get $50. Okay. Do you think you're a shoe-in to win? Yes. All right. Okay, so let's see the first look. Now, who do you think wore these?
Oh, come on. I know this. Alani.
Them size 12. Okay, let's see who won the second one.
Ooh.
Oh, that's
I'm gonna go with Jeannie.
Good, you know us well. Okay, so you're at 100. Let's see who's rocking the third pair. Come on, you got this.
Tam.
Yes! Yes! Alani, for now, final place. What do you think? Whose are these?
Oh.
Adrian.
Who got it?
The last two seasons, I remember you saying you had smaller feet and they went in your shoes always.
Oh my God, you're a diehard fan. Girl, you're a 4 for 4 and a diehard fan. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I love it all.
You got a perfect score. That means you're going home with $200. Great job, Mel. Mel, what are you going to spend your 200 on?
Ooh, food.
Yeah. We love you. Thank you for playing, girl. We love you. We'll be right back with more of the Real. Up next, we daydream a little. It's Choose Your Muse.
Dialysis is life support. I'm considered on life support. Kidney failure affects people are not going to be better off if Proposition 8 passes.